High school football is on the air. This evening from the Okie Blaster Sports Complex, the Cheyenne Thunderbirds entertain the Rock Springs Tigers. High school football on 1480 KRAE is being brought to you by our fine sports sponsors. Now, let's send it out to the Okie Blaster Sports Complex and Friday Night Lights as the Cheyenne Thunderbirds entertain the Rock Springs Tigers. Before the opening kickoff, let's check in with our pregame show right here on 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
High atop at Okie Blanchard's Sports Complex, Larry Proietti along with Chris Polton and Nick Proietti as we are ready to bring you Cheyenne's football. The 5-2 Thunderbirds matching up with the 4-3 Rock Springs Tigers in Week 7 action.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm doing the math here.
Right.
We've already played. No, actually, they still have the Week 0 that they go by here in the high school ranks. But again, the 8th weekend of football. And again, we still have things that need to be decided, especially we got Central taking on Natrona. That has a lot of implications in the standings. We might even have a possibility with South bumping into possible playoff ramifications by winning tonight in Gillette. So there's so much still to go with 2 weeks left in the season. And that makes this a lot of fun calling this game tonight. Rock Springs, a pretty good outfit under new head coach Mark Lenhart.
Tough as nails, this team. We were talking about it before we came on the air, just how big their offensive line is, and I think that's something that Coach Chad Goff probably spoke to his team a lot. You're going to have to be tough tonight because they're going to punch you in the mouth, and it's going to be all about how East responds. It's going to be windy tonight. The passing game may not be there as much as it has been the last all season. Really, it's going to come down to, can Anderton really do the job behind center with Haugen, and can East stop this very rough and tumble run game of Rock Springs?
Again, they're going to run that double wing set. They'll throw the football. They're not afraid to throw the football, but if they can grind it out, matter of fact, they're going to be calling on one Landon Toth. We'll be calling that name out quite a bit for the Rock Springs Tigers against Seth Hymas as their quarterback. So it's going to be an interesting contest. If this was a perfect weather day, we're not going to make excuses. Yeah, I think East is probably the perfect weather team for what they do. But I thought last week, in the conditions that were relevant here at the Okie Blanchard Sports Complex against the Cheyenne Central Indians, I thought East played a very good game. I mean, they played a solid contest. They matched up with a team that's every week getting better.
They are, and probably one of the best front fours on the defensive side that they've seen all season. They kept Graydon Buell upright for the most part. I think he only got sacked once, maybe hit a couple other times, and they're going to have to do the same here tonight. They're going to have to keep him clean, and they're going to have to open up some lanes for Anderton. And when it comes to Anderton now, you're going to have to pick one lane and go. You can't sit there and
bob
and weave.
Through.
Right,
Yeah.
You're going to have to just go. These guys are big and they're fast, and they go to finish plays. One of the coaches for East said they have a couple of guys that go, and they go to run through you, not just to go up there and make a play. They want to run through you, so the next time you get up, you're thinking twice about next time you see 71, 77, who will be calling on a lot tonight.
Right, and again, the names that or the numbers that Chris is mentioning, one is Craig Ash. He is their center, and their offensive lineman and defensive lineman, Carson Tyler, and he is a load. Tonight's game being brought to you by MHP LLP, Lennox Auto Body, Little Philly, Mary's Mountain Cookies, Medicap Pharmacy, Meridian Trust, Federal Credit Union, Merritt Plumbing and Heating, Page and Zach Lane at Number One Properties, Pepsi of Cheyenne with our Pepsi scoreboard, Pete's Builders, Platte Valley Bank, Taco John's, the Gill Window Company, the Wyoming Department of Transportation. Coming up on our pregame show, we will be talking to Will Gray, who is the head coach on the football side over at Pine Bluffs, but also the athletic director over at Pine. We'll also be chatting with Mark Lenhart, the head coach at Rock Springs, our opposing coach segment. We'll also have comments from head coach Chad Goff as well. Also, we want to thank Aero Moving and Storage, B&B Appliance and TV, Baskin Robbins, Billy Alleman with the LCCC Flight Crew, the Bread Basket Bakery, Burns Insurance Company, Capital Lumber Company, Charles Schwab, Shine Auto Repair and Service, Chick-fil-A, Fat Boys Tire and Auto, First Education Federal Credit Union, Foot of the Rockies, Halliday Motors, High West Energy, Joe Ed Produce, Kia of Cheyenne, Laramie County Community College, Cheyenne Regional Medical Center, the Injury Prevention Program, Kuzma Success Realty, and we want to thank First Tier Bank. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, it's our pregame show. First, Will Gray from Pine Bluffs High School after these words on 1480 KRAE. Right now, it's our pleasure to talk with Pine Bluffs Athletic Director, Pine Bluffs High School Athletic Director Will Gray. And, of course, Will, in small marketville, USA, you wear many hats. So, again, being the AD is just one of many fun things that you get to do at Pine Bluffs High School.
Yeah, that's right, man. Keeps me busy and keeps me out of trouble.
Talking with Barry Ward, a few weeks back, and again, too, you look at, the Class 4A guys, and I'm talking about here in Cheyenne. Chad Whitworth, Jerry Schlabs, and, of course, Mark Webb over at Cheyenne South. But, again, tell us a little bit what's the difference of being the athletic director at Pine Bluffs as opposed to being in Cheyenne?
The first thing when I think about it is, we offer, way less sports. So, in the fall, I only have a couple things that I have to deal with, at high school plus the junior high sports, but they're offering so many more things than we do. So they're spread a lot more thin than we are. And then on the flip side of that, Barry and I still teach, 5 periods a day, where I don't think those guys are in the classroom, but it's kind of that give and take of they've got more things they offer, so they're busier with those, but then Barry and I, are still in the classroom for 5 periods a day.
Now, again, Pine Bluff's a very small community. Tell me the student athletes that you get the opportunity to draw from, just in Pine, or where else are you drawing the student athletes?
We get some kids from Alvin. We get some kids from the Carpenter area. But we, majority of our kids do come from in town or, the surrounding area of town. But we have, a good chunk of kids from the Alvin and Carpenter areas.
Let's talk about how tough it is at times, and you would know this better than anybody. How tough is it at times to field all of the sports that Pine Bluffs offers?
It's not so much the difficulty of fielding it. It's just sometimes you're kind of in that down cycle where the kids you have, like for instance in football this year, we're just really young. We have a lot of young kids on the field, and we don't have a huge number of big kids. So, from year to year, it can be different. Just the product you're putting on the field is just different. You go in those cycles in a small school, or we got less bodies to choose from. I think we have 50 boys in school. Some do cross country. We got, I think, one that goes to Cheyenne and plays hockey. So just the number of boys that fluctuates each year is kind of difficult for us. And in the girls, it's the same way. We have a 7th grade class that has decent numbers, but there's only 3 females in the class. So when we look at junior high sports, their numbers are kind of down a little bit in the girls, but there's 22 boys or 23 boys, something like that. So our numbers in high school, as far as boys sports, are going to explode a little bit.
And I mentioned, when you mentioned girls, the first thing that came to mind was girls fast pitch. Was recently adopted by the Wyoming High School Activities Association. And, of course, our school board here in Cheyenne passed it unanimously. So South, East, and Central will be offering girls fast pitch coming up here in the near future. How did that affect Pine Bluffs? Do we have young ladies that will be maybe coming over to town and participating in fast pitch?
I could see a couple. I don't necessarily have any names, but we've got some that play, for the Kimball teams in the summer. We don't offer it, at the junior high level. We just have little Pee-wee stuff and Little League stuff. But we have some girls that go to Kimball and play. So I could see a couple of them do that, which if that's what they love to do, we're going to support them and we're going to find ways to make it work for them.
I had this conversation with Barry here a few weeks back, and I'm going to ask you the same question because the I-80 East Series happened again this past Friday night. And again, in my travels throughout Wyoming, with our smaller communities especially, whether the season is going good or it's a little rough, the thing to be is to be seen at a Friday night game at either Pine or Burns. And the nice thing is it's still the thing to do on a Friday night.
Yeah, there was quite a few people there. We had a doubleheader we had a triple header. The junior high teams played I think that kicked off at 1, and then high school volleyball started about 3, I think, and then the varsity football game, and our school board and our superintendent put together a chili and cinnamon roll feed. Just because of the weather, they usually do hamburgers and things, but with the weather, they had chili and cinnamon rolls. It was free for anybody that came, and there was great attendance and everything, and everybody behaved themselves, and there was no issues, and it was a good night. It wasn't what we wanted on the scoreboard, but, the kids competed, and I think, you create some different relationships through that.
It seems like for the bigger schools, the facilities get improved first. So how tough is it for your school, especially at Pine Bluffs? And again, I know you have a wonderful football facility, but to do any type of improvement. So again, I'll just throw out like football lights or scoreboard or even the placement of all-weather turf. How tough is it to get those funds appropriated for Pine Bluffs High School?
It's kind of difficult. We do have an awesome gym, but for us to make upgrades in it because it was built in the 60s, there's some, just some modernization things that you have to do that have nothing to do with the upgrades you want to do. So, if we do anything, we have to upgrade some other things just to, be up to, standards of today. So for us, that's kind of a challenge. And as far as turf and those things, we would love to have it, but we certainly understand that it's expensive. And, at a small school, that's maybe not your best way to invest your money. But we ask for things every year, and we have a very awesome school board and a superintendent and a business manager right now that hear us out, and sometimes they say yes, and sometimes they say no. But when they say no, they have good reasons for it. So we always want something new and improved, but we get it when we can't have it.
And Will, that's going to lead me to my final question with you. I know that your high school, you always have needs and wants, and you were just mentioning about the high school gym. Is there anything pressing right now that the state of Wyoming or, Laramie County School District number 2 needs to seriously look at? I mean, if you can wave that magic wand, is there anything pressing right now at Pine Bluffs High School that needs to be taken care of?
For me, we need more locker room space. When visitors come here, we have spaces for them, but they're not the biggest. And we just need some bigger locker room spaces. And that's something that'll come over time. We talk about it all the time, and we're trying to develop plans for it. But we're not too picky. We like what we have, but like I said, there's always that end goal or that dream of what you want things to look like, and we'll get there eventually.
The comments from Pine Bluffs Athletic Director Will Gray. We'll take a timeout. More coming up right after these words on 1480 KRAE.
If you're looking for fun and adventure, Kia of Cheyenne is the place to start, and the 2019 Kia Sorento will help you find it. I'm AJ Miller, and the 2019 Kia Sorento will give you what you need to make things happen. This vehicle has plenty of power, all-season traction, safety features, technology, and comfort for any road you're on. The Kia Sorento offers plenty of standard features for the money, and we're all about saving you money. Come in, call 775-0123, or go to KiaofCheyenne.com, and we'll make it easy.
This weekend in the Mountain West Conference, it's week number 8. All are Mo West games except for one. On tap for tonight at Bulldog Stadium in Fresno, California, Fresno State will entertain the UNLV Rebels. On tap for tomorrow, New Mexico will be at Wyoming to take on the Pokes at War Memorial Stadium in Laramie. Kickoff slated for 1 p.m. San Jose State will be at home. They'll entertain the San Diego State Aztecs. Number 14, Boise State, the Broncos on the road. This will be the lone non-conference game as they'll take on the BYU Cougars at Lavelle Edwards Stadium in Provo, Utah. Nevada on the road at Utah State to take on the Aggies at Romney Stadium in Logan. And late night on the islands in Hawaii at Aloha Stadium, the Rainbows will host the Air Force Falcons. We'll have more of our pregame show, our opposing coach segment, coming up right here on 1480 KRAE. Larry Proietti talking with head coach Mark Lenhart of the Rock Springs Tigers. And Mark, real quick, I guess the one question that comes to mind, and I know the answer because I've been around long enough, but making that move from 3A, from Torrington, to coming to Rock Springs, is there much difference in 3A to 4A football?
Yeah, there is quite a bit of difference. I think more than anything, and it's funny, I just was asked that same question not long ago, and I think the biggest difference you see is at the 3A level, you typically have one receiver you got to try and take away. You typically have, maybe 2 or 3 run schemes you got to take away. And at the 4A level, there's just more depth, and more athletes across the board. And so you have to play it a little bit more honest because there's typically more than one guy who can beat you. And so, at the end of the day, football is football. That hasn't changed. But just the style of offenses and the style of defenses that people play, it's a little more college-y. At the 3A level, you see a little more 2-back run game. You see a little bit more of maybe some traditional stuff where people are running things that they've ran for years. You have coaches who've been there for a while. And the 4A is just a little more spread out offensively and defensively. So, there's some differences, but at the end of the day, football is football.
You look at your system that you brought in from Torrington to Rock Springs. And again, I think this is kind of what the doctor ordered, a little more stability at that coaching position. But had the kids bought into the Mark Lenhart system?
Yeah, I think so. I think that they're doing a good job, and they're really trying. We're obviously a work in progress. I'd say, honestly, we've been a little bit more smoke and mirrors early on, trying in this first year to get as many wins as we can to get the kids excited about playing football here at Rock Springs. For the third biggest school in the state, we definitely, we don't get the numbers out that we need to get. And I think that that's just going to happen over time, just in terms of our recruitment and getting down to the junior high, getting kids excited about being a Tiger. There's some advantages to being here. It's just one school, for one town, which is nice. So we've got a large enrollment with a small school mentality. So hopefully we can get that going in the right direction in terms of getting our numbers better. But at the end of the day, I think that we've done some good things here. I think that we've been competitive even in our losses this year, and we just got to keep finding a way to try and win a close game.
There's a lot of tradition at Rock Springs, even like at Cheyenne Central. And I know Mike Apodaca at Cheyenne Central trying to revive that winning tradition. You were a part of that, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. But you also know, too, from your playing days, Rock Springs always had a very quality program. So you're trying to instill that winning tradition back into this program?
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think it's one of those where, it's just the same old that we're all trying to fight. I don't care what school you're at right now. It's getting kids out and getting them bought into wanting to get better year-round. Football is a game where you put an awful lot of work into playing 9 games. It's not like basketball where you can go play AAU or then you play 25 regular season games or whatever it may be. You're playing a lot. You're not playing very much. And so getting them to want to buy into being in the weight room, to throwing in the off season, to spending some time, watching film and doing all the stuff that it takes to be successful. The big 4, when you look at East, Natrona, Thunder Basin, and Sheridan, those kids do that, and we've got to find a way to get it to that level. And I do think us, definitely Central and Rock Springs, are on the right track to making that happen.
I'm glad you mentioned the Big 4 because, again, what we've said here in the past, they have that luxury of just reloading each and every year. And again, this is what you're attempting to do at Rock Springs is get this program to reload and be competitive. However, you look at where you're at here with the last 2 games of the season, schedule makers weren't too nice to you because they give you 2 of the Big 4 as you wrap up your first year at Rock Springs.
Yeah, and, like we've told our kids, we know, we've heard some people around here call it the gauntlet, Thunder Basin, East, and Natrona. No doubt those are good teams, but I think people also are looking at our team now and saying this isn't just a gimme anymore, that we're going to have to show up and play. And, we were up 14-2 at halftime against Thunder Basin last week. And then they come out in the third quarter and did what good teams did, and they scored, 22 unanswered, and we were never really able to get anything going offensively to try and stop it. You stop the bleeding. But, we also threw an interception in the end zone at the very end, with about 6 minutes to go to cut it to 3. So at the end of the day, we had our chances. Against Cheyenne Central, we had our chances. We lost a close game there. And against Sheridan, really the first game of the year, we fumbled twice inside the 10. So if we can find a way to just get into the end zone when we get our opportunities and clean up a few things on special teams, I think we're going to be all right.
I've talked with Chad Goff many times, and again, we've covered Cheyenne, Eastern, Rock Springs for many years, and this has always been a battle, whether it's been at Rock or whether it's been at the old Oakey Blanchard or even at the new Oakey Blanchard Sports Complex. And I know Chad does not take anything for granted, but you and your Rock Springs Tigers will have your hands full with both that offense and defense when you come to town.
Oh, no doubt. Graydon Buell's he's a hell of a quarterback. I mean, the stats show it, 67% completion percentage. He's thrown 24 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. He's got as good a touch on the deep ball as any kid I've seen, at this level of play since I've been coaching in Wyoming. And they do a nice job of staying balanced. And their offensive staff will spread you out, but they'll still run the ball effectively. So they do a really, really nice job. And then defensively, they're not overly big. We'll have a size advantage, but they're going to do what everybody else has done, and they're going to come down and try and take away the run game and make us throw it. And although we're not as good at throwing the ball as, most of the teams in 4A are in some aspects, we've improved a lot considering that we've ran the double wing for the last 3 years. So our kids are doing some good things. There's no doubt about it, and we're improving, and hopefully we can try and find a way to put it all together on Friday night.
And final thought, Mark, I do appreciate you joining us here on our pregame show. The standings right now, and again, it's always great for the talking heads like me in the media. We always like to play the game what if, and here's all the scenarios that can happen. I'm sure your kids also are aware of where they're at in the standings, and they know if they can win here, this could happen. It has to do, I guess it has to build some excitement as your kids prepare for this upcoming weekend.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about it. We went through all the scenarios with them, and, if we can find a way to win our last 2, we host a home playoff game and we guarantee ourselves a winning season. And people maybe don't realize this. Rock Springs has had 1 winning season in 17 years. So for us to be able to accomplish that would be a heck of a goal. And there's still a scenario out there if we can find a way to win this, and things go a certain way. If we all finished at 5-4, us Central and East, it would come down to a coin flip. And so then you never know what's going to happen. You could be hosting a playoff game to being the 6th seed. So at the end of the day, we just got to try and take care of business on Friday night to give ourselves a chance. And we know it's going to be a tall task, and we know that they'll be prepared for us. And hopefully we can find a way to come out and give ourselves a chance in the fourth quarter.
Rock Springs head coach Mark Lenhart. We will take a timeout. We'll be back with more right here on 1480 KRAE.
College. It's filled with classrooms, instructors, and exams. But beyond that, it's filled with curiosity, budding friendships, insightful conversations, and so many opportunities. There will be people like you, and you, and you. You'll work, you'll play, you'll struggle, and you'll succeed. But when you allow yourself to pursue your dreams, you'll learn what you're truly made of.
Right now, our conversation continues. This time we talk with East High head coach Chad Goff. Coach, I want to go back just quickly to last week. And one thing that I saw with your team, and I'm sure you can appreciate it, your team is a good old-fashioned blue-collar working team. I mean, they have a lot of resolve. They don't panic. And I think that's a testament to you and your coaching staff. But, again, you have to feel very confident every time you put this team on the football field. They're not going to panic.
Yeah, they've done a good job this year of reacting to situations and like you said, not panicking and staying in the games, and that's pretty special when you're dealing with high school kids.
What makes this team different from all the rest that you've coached at Cheyenne? And again, I really like the makeup of this team. And again, just 4 points, Coach, and you could have a perfect record to this point.
Yeah, I think like we've already talked about a little bit, just their ability to not panic. I've coached teams when you go up to Natrona and you're down 14 points and you walk out of there 45-0 loss. It's just a team that stays in battles and competes, and they're truly a good group of kids that just truly appreciate each other. The older kids are so good to the younger kids, and the younger kids look up to the older kids, and it's a pretty good makeup.
I kind of chuckled to myself when I asked this question because obviously Thunder Basin has been the top dog team all season long, and then, of course, Sheridan's always had that successful program in Natrona. But I almost feel like every time that the Chinese Thunderbirds step onto the football field, you're the ones with a target on your back, as Cheyenne Central tried to prove this past Friday night.
Yeah, I feel like we get a lot of people's best games, no doubt about it. You watch team, and that's where we've got to get better. We've got to get to that point where maybe we can get people to quit before they get here, and I think that happens sometimes with some of those other teams. But I think people that we get a lot of people's best games.
You still have and I know I seen it's cleaning up a little bit, but you still have a little problem with the mental mistakes. That yellow flag is. It comes at the wrong times for your team.
Yeah, definitely. And that's some of that's on some of us as coaches, getting us into the right spots and doing things a little more efficient from the sideline. And some of it's just mental focus, and we try to work that in practice. When you're tired, you got to be focused more when you're tired. And so it's definitely something we're trying to clean up.
Every Friday night you got to bring a game, and of course this Friday night at home you have to bring the A game again. As you told me on our postgame show last weekend, you've had some great battles with the Rock Springs Tigers. They're under new direction now with Mark Lenhart, former Cheyenne Central product, and again, most recently he was up in Torrington taking care of the Trailblazers program. But it seems like he's kind of turned things around at Rock Springs and trying to bring back that winning tradition to the Tigers.
Yeah, he's done a great job. We knew he would do a great job as soon as he got it. And so he's at a school with probably one of the highest enrollments. He's got kids to pick from, and he's got some giants up front, and kids are understanding his system, and they just keep getting better every week.
You look at a program such as Rock Springs, and you've seen pretty much the similarities through the years. You got to stop the running game. You actually want to force this team to pass. That's not really their strength.
Yeah, definitely. Their running game, they run a lot of different formations, a lot of unbalanced stuff at you in an effort to try to get you to get misaligned, and they can attack those gaps where you're misaligned. And so you got to be very sound in what you're doing defensively to make sure that you're in the right spot based on what the formation they're giving you is. And like you said, you got to stop that run. They do a good job with it.
And final thought, Coach, as we get deep into the season here with a couple of Friday nights left before we move into the playoff round, let's talk about the team physically. And again, on a cold night, you figure there'd be some bumps and bruises, but it looked like your team came out pretty unscathed, and looks like you're pretty healthy as you head into the home stretch.
Yeah, I think we're doing okay right now. I think Cole Michael is getting healthier every week, and so that's a positive for us. And so, everyone's got their bumps and bruises right now, and but I think we came out of last week's game pretty good.
East High Thunderbird head coach Chad Goff. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll have more right here on 1480 KRAE. This evening's Class 4A high school football matchups, including our contest here at the Oakville Blanchard Stadium featuring Cheyenne East hosting Rock Springs, includes these games. Cheyenne South will be on the road as they will take on the Campbell County Camels in Gillette. Cheyenne Central at Milt Risky Field, they'll have a date with the Casper Natrona Mustangs. It will be the Casper Kelly Walsh Trojans on the road. They'll take on the Thunder Basin Bolts. And the Sheridan Broncs, they will make the long road trip to Laramie to take on the Plainsmen. We'll take this time out, and when we come back, tonight's starting lineups right here on 1480 KRAE. Back to the Oakville Blanchard Sports Complex. Cheyenne East Rock Springs just about ready to get things underway here this evening. The Thunderbirds won the toss. They have elected to defer to the second half, so the Tigers will be on offense. Here's the way they're going to line up with the big hosses up front. They'll have Brandon Gresham on the offensive line. He'll be joined, he's a senior, by Avery Malson. He's also a senior. The center will be Craig Ash. He is a senior. Kyle DeMarty is an offensive lineman. He's a junior. And Carson Tyler, he is a big hoss. He is the senior at the tackle position. The quarterback is Seth Hymas. He is a senior. The running back is Colin Madsen. He is a junior. On the wings will be Chase Petty, a senior, along with Favor O'Care. He is a senior. The other receiver will be Justice Reese, a senior. And the tight end will be Isaac Schoenfeld, who is a sophomore. The head coach is Mark Lenhart, and we will come back after we hear a nice rendition of our national anthem. We'll come back with the East starters. So we will be back here to the Oakville Blanchard Sports Complex after a 2-minute timeout. A 2-minute timeout right here on 1480 KRAE.
little behind time, Chris, and we'll get to the Cheyenne starters. One of the things that we haven't had that opportunity ever to do, because we're always in commercial break, is to play the national anthem. So we're going to let you listen in to the rendition of the national anthem by the Cheyenne High Marching Band. How about that? Live as it happened, the great rendition of our national anthem by the Cheyenne East High School Marching Band. You heard it right here on 1480 KRAE, 1480 KRAE Cheyenne. Larry Proietti, Chris Polton, Nick Proietti. Hey, the Cheyenne East Thunderbirds, as we already went to the offensive lineup for the Rock Springs Tigers. East won the toss. They'll defer to the second half. What they're going to do, Chris, is they're going to have the wind behind them. It's a northeasterly wind. Again, this is an east-west field, so quarter one, the Thunderbirds will have the wind behind them, and so it looks like in quarter four, they will also have the wind behind them if this wind keeps up throughout the evening.
Well, that's something they said. If they were going to win the toss, they wanted to get the side. They wanted the ball behind them right from the get-go because they want to get off to a fast start. They don't want Rock Springs to feel like they're in it, and the best way to do that for them is their big play potential that they have, and that's by throwing the football.
All right, well, let's line them up defensively for the T-Birds.
They're 3-4 defense in the middle. Zach Higgins, 5'11", senior, number 68, his senior night tonight, as well as Aiden Montoya, who'll be on one end, 6'3", 205. He's again a senior. And Julian Vigil, a 6'2", 195-pound junior. The linebackers, Trey Bauer, he's a 5'11", 185 junior. The other linebacker will be Dakota Heckman, a 5'11 junior. Shea Ellis, 5'11 junior, number 30. He's out on the line, as well as Colt Michaeli, a senior, 6'2". As far as the secondary goes, defensive back Chance Allmiller, senior, 6'3", 165. The other defensive back is another senior, 5'11", 160, Ox Schroeder. The free safety will be junior number 2, Jackson Hesford, 5'9", 160. And the strong safety, Nathan Lamb, number 51, a junior, 6 foot, 195. A little bit different look as you have a guy that typically plays the offensive line. He's coming down to play strong safety, probably a strategic move, as you'll probably see Nathan Lamb line up almost with the linebackers to help with the run defense tonight.
And again, we want to mention, too, on the Rock Springs side, as we gave you the starting 11, you will also see a lot of senior Landon Roth at the running back position as well. So for Mark Lenhart's team, a lot riding on this game tonight. I know a lot of his family is in attendance. So, again, mom and dad along with uncles and aunts, and again, the Lenhart family out in full force. We do want to welcome our friends from Sweetwater County across the way as they are ready to get into some good football action here at the Okie Blanchard Sports Complex. Cheyenne East playing host to the Rock Springs Tigers. The Tigers will be in their travel white uniforms, the orange numerals with black outline. They'll have the orange pants along with the orange helmets. The powder blue East look tonight with the dark numerals and the white outline and the white helmets for Cheyenne East. So we're about ready to get things underway as Ox Schroeder and the kickoff team will head on out. For the T-Birds, back deep, I do believe, will be Andrew Scores along with Dylan Christofferson. For the Tigers, Actually, they'll have Toth back there joining scores, so that will be Landon Toth. And they'll be around the 20-yard line, which is interesting because with the wind behind Cheyenne East, and maybe they were looking at film at Goff
From
last
week, right.
hitting them low. They're kind of up, and I'm thinking that Schroeder's going to try to boot it as close to the end zone as he can.
Looks like they will have a holder. Hayden Lamb will be holding it out there at the 40-yard line on that far hash.
So we're about ready to get things underway from the Okie Blatcher Sports Complex. Schroeder waits for the official signal. And we are waiting for the whistle. And now we're ready to play football. It will be a short kick, and it'll be picked up by one of the upbacks at the 27-yard line, and he will drive to the 35. So good field position for the Tigers as they will get things underway early. And that might have been Madsen who was on the grab, so it will be first down and 10 for Rock Springs.
Well, one thing we'll see a lot of, we were talking about the pregame, the reason why you didn't say where their positions were on the offensive line is because they move a lot. And here you can already see it's heavy to the right to start off.
Madsen along with Toth in the backfield. Underneath center is Hymas. Long count, and he'll hand off to Madsen. Madsen goes off tackle to the far side, and not much going. Maybe a yard, Chris.
Yeah, again, you'll see the East, they'll have the overload towards the heavy side, but again, with starting Nathan Lamb at the strong safety, he's going to be lined up in the box to help support the run game tonight.
So it'll be second down and 9. We're just underway here at the Okie Blanchard Sports Complex. Don't forget at Risky Field. Cheyenne Central plays host to Casper Natrona. Cheyenne South on the road. They're in Campbell County against the Camels at Gillette. Second down and 10. This time they'll go to Toth. Toth, big hole, and he'll have the first down. Nice run there by Landon Toth. They'll say the knees touchdown at the 46, but I think that's enough for a first down.
It is a nice big run as Toth looked like he was untouched through the first level right there.
They went to the left side, their left, as the Tigers are going right to left across your radio dial as well as your live stream. And again, as you saw, they went in between the tackle, the guard, and nobody touched them.
No, and it was the weaker side as it wasn't the overbalanced on the side. They went to the weak side on that time.
Double tight end set. Little motion. And they'll hand it off again to Toth. Toth outside, cuts it back. Against Creighton, breaks free into East Territory down to the 38-yard line. Oh, my. They right now are showing the Thunderbirds they can move the football, especially as they're attacking what would be the strong side for Cheyenne East defensively.
Well, and for Toth, too, not only did he, break a tackle, but he also ran a guy over as well, and just getting yards after contact, which is something Rock Springs feasts on, is making sure one guy doesn't bring him down.
Again, with a double tight end set, they'll hand it off to Madsen. Madsen will bust down to the 34-yard line. That'll be a pickup of 4, and it's second down and 6. Pepsi scoreboard right now at the 10-minute mark, opening drive of the contest by the Tigers.
Well, one thing was going to have to break today because you have you have one of the better rushing offenses, second in the state, and then you have the best rushing defense in East. So something was going to have to bend in one of these wills.
Second down and 6. Hymas will have Blaine Richards now in motion from his tight end position, offset eye, as they will give it to Toth. Toth over the 29 down to over the 30 down to the 29. It's close to a first down, but about a yard short.
And here is fourth down territory. So East, even if they make this stop here, Rock Springs is not going to be kicking a field goal, especially going into the wind.
So for the Tigers, they're looking at third down. We'll call it about 1.5. Needing to get to the East 28, they're just shy of the 29. Two backs to the backfield. They'll hand it off to Toth, first down and more, as he drags on Miller to the 22-yard line, and it will be another first down for the Tigers.
It's Hayden Lamb just getting dragged underneath as Toth is doing a good job finishing his runs.
Well, the Tigers right now setting the tone as they have not put the ball up in the air, keeping it on the ground. And, I mean, they are really going after that front side of Cheyenne East defense.
Averaging nearly 7 yards a carry. To this point, there's no reason to throw the ball in the air.
Richards in motion as he will move from left to right. They'll hand it off to Madsen. Madsen try to cut back inside. Boom. He goes down quickly at the 20-yard line. He got hit hard.
Still a gain of 3, though, and if you're an offense that loves to run the football, you'll take 3+ all day.
So a bunch of specialists will come in now for the Tigers. And, again, what they'll do here is they'll try to set up like they're going to throw the football. You know, one of those will be Justice Reese, who comes in, as he will be on the wide side, as he will split to the near side, and splitting out on top will be Favorable Carey.
Reese, 24 catches, 422 yards, 5 touchdowns on the season, so is a threat.
Offset, well, they had an offset eye. Now they will move Toth next to Richards in motion. Goes Reese. They'll hand it off to Toth. Toth cuts it back inside and then driven back at the 17-yard line. So it'll be 3rd down. Needing to get right in between the 12 and the 13, so we'll call it 3rd down and a long 4.
Well, here comes some more big, heavy ones coming back in, so they're going to get muscly again. But now one thing, Larry, for me, if you're getting 3-4 yards a pop with your big guys in, what's the point of trying to run any type of misdirection?
Well,
Just line up.
You want to show different sets, that's for sure. So it's 3rd down, as again this drive is already taken about 5 minutes, 4 minutes and 45 seconds to be exact. They'll hand it off to Toth. Toth, 1st down, straight ahead, inside the 10 to the 9. 1st and goal for the Tigers.
Another 8-yard pop. Toth on this drive, 6 carries, 46 yards. He's been the favorite hand to go to here on this first drive.
A surgically performed drive to this point by the Tigers without putting the football in the air. And again, and the matter of fact, the flags have gone dead right now. It's like the wind has just died down here.
This Rock Springs last week got up to a 14-2 lead over the number 1 team, Thunder Basin. They couldn't hold on, but this is a team that can play with anybody in Class 4A.
Petty, Reese, and O'Carey split out on top. They'll give this one to Richards this time. Richards breaks a tackle inside the 5, slithers his way to the 4, maybe the 3. And they're going to say the knees touch down at the 4. So the Tigers right now knock it on the door. Lane Richards again, he is a tight end, and they threw him in the backfield this time.
Good strong run, too. Once again, Rock Springs, they're not going down with just one set of hands on them. East is going to have to gang tackle and get there in a hurry, or it's going to be a long night because Rock Springs is going to take care of, or at least eat a lot of clock.
Reese and O'Carey out on top. It is 2nd down and goal. They'll hand it off to Toth. Toth, I think, lost the football as he hits the deck.
Fortunate for him, he's able to pick it back up, though.
And he will be stopped at the 2. Falls right on top of it.
Well, as you had talked to Coach earlier in the week, Coach Lenhart, it was turnovers that kind of hurt them against Thunder Basin. Right there, almost a very costly one early in this one.
So it's 3rd down and goal from the 2. As the Tigers huddle up. And they'll break the huddle and quickly come to the line of scrimmage. O'Carey along with Reese to the near side. Richards along with Toth behind Hymas. They'll pitch it back to Toth. He will go an untouched touchdown. Oh, what a drive by the Tigers. 6-0 our score as Rock Springs, how about, takes almost 7 minutes off the clock. That's how you wear out a defense right there.
6:52 to be exact, and they went down. They started at the 36, so a 64-yard touchdown drive, and all of them on the ground. It's an 11-play drive for them.
Madsen to kick, Hymas to hold. The placement is down, kick through the uprights, and good. Tigers 7. East waiting the offensive unit to come onto the football field. We'll see that offensive unit after this timeout. A 30-second timeout right here on 1480 KRAE. play drive by the Tigers, not one of those plays were in the air, all on the ground. And they sent a message to the East High Thunderbirds, you try to stop us tonight.
Right. This is a team that's very physical. They're going to take it straight to you and go straight through the teeth of your defense. And they're going to do the same thing when they have when they're playing defense as well. They're big in the middle, and they're going to get after the quarterback. And so for East, they're going to have to respond because as far as this East offense goes, they're not used to being off the field for this long, especially in the first quarter.
A 6-minute and 58-second drive to open up the contest by the Tigers. Madsen will have it teed up at the 40-yard line again. Now the flags start to pick up just a little bit as he will boot into the wind. Hesford, along with Ox Schroeder, they're back deep for Cheyenne East.
And the ball
falls off the tee. And looking at the upbacks for Cheyenne East right now, it looks like Jake Rail, and I do believe that's Adrian Hernandez standing around the 20-yard line. So, again, we'll try it. Official blows the whistle, and it falls off the tee. So usually when it does it a second time, then you have to have somebody come in there and hold it.
Well, for East, they didn't even mess around with it. They just had Hayden Lamb go and hold it there. So I don't know why they thought it would be different for them. Maybe they have the different football.
So now to step in and hold it for Madsen, it looks like that is going to be into the finger of Ross Brown. And it's a low kick, and it will be picked up by Hesford at the 8 to the 10, 20-yard line, gets outside, turns it up the sideline in front of the East bench, driven out of bounds, and a late flag comes in, so that will be a late hit on Hesford and an additional 15 for Cheyenne East. As the Thunderbirds, he was driven out of the 27. Looks like they'll mark that up to the 42.
Well, and that's, the sideline judge, you can tell he had his head down because he was looking at where Hesford stepped out of play. The other official, a little delayed, is the one that ended up making the call.
Yeah, the back judge came up right away and threw the flag. So for the T-Birds, and again, it's the personal foul as the referee is backing everybody off as he will now mark it from the 27 to the 42. This is a major penalty.
So, yeah, what looked to be, not great field position for East is going to turn into really good field position for the Thunderbirds on their first drive.
And they'll call that unsportsmanlike conduct for the late hit. So it's marked to the 42. So the T-Birds will operate in really good field position as Graydon Buell will step up to the line of scrimmage for the T-Birds. He will have Christian Anderton to his left. In motion comes Hesford from the near side out on top. T-Birds going left to right, radio side, as well as on the live stream side. Buell with a long count out of the gun. On the option, pitches it to Anderton. Anderton trying to get outside and goes nowhere, loses the football, but I think he was already down.
Not a good start from the run game as they try to stretch out this Rock Springs defense. Good job there by setting the edge for the Tigers. It was number 26, Isaac Schoenfeld, on the containment there for the Tigers. Matchup to look at, Favor Okiri is tapped to try to stop Chance Miller on that far side.
Second down 11. This time they will go on the fly sweep. They'll give it to Hesford. Hesford turns it back up, loses his balance, and he'll be dropped down at the 48-yard line. So they'll get back the lost yardage and some positive gain there from Hesford at the 48. They need to get to the Rock Springs 48-yard line, so it's 3rd down and 4. We'll call it 3rd and 5.
Graydon Buell trying to stretch out that right shoulder, Larry. Maybe all that time sitting down, he got a little stiff. Of course, a little bit colder tonight than it was last weekend.
Let me check myself. 3rd and 4. They'll give it to Anderson. Anderson tripped. Has the first down and more. Regains his balance. Down to the 35-yard line of the Tigers. 1st down and 10 for Cheyenne East.
I love the way he finished that run. He lowered his shoulder and went right into Reese. What a great way to finish a big play.
So for the T-Birds trying to answer back quickly, they have a 1st down at the Tigers' 35-yard line. Nice run by Christian Anderton.
He could have been tripped up for about a 5-yard gain. Was able to keep his balance, though.
Michael I splits to the near side. Out of the gun. Buell back to pass. He'll look for Michael I, and he will shoot it too low. And matter of fact, off as Michael I was kind of going in, and the pass came outside.
Yeah, Buell still trying to get that shoulder loose. That pass came from below the shoulder pads, too, kind of a sidearm pass.
Yeah. Second down to 10. Clock stopped at the 3:33 mark on the Pepsi scoreboard. Tigers lead 7-0. Trips out on top for the T-Birds. Buell to Anderton. Anderton wrapped up and then driven back. May have forward progress to the 32. So pickup of 3 on the play, and it'll be third down and 7. Hash mark to the near side. They'll give him the 31, so give him 4 on the play. My bad. Third down and 6.
4 down territory here for East, you would think. Here
Buell
at the 31.
got the play from the sidelines, and he's back to pass. Has plenty of time. Steps going long. Got a man, and is incomplete. In the corner, around the 8-yard line, they were trying to hook up. I do believe that would have been with Michaeli.
And then Hesford was also there running an out pattern, was running out of real estate, so started cutting up the field, so 2 receivers in the same area.
So it'll be 4th down for the T-Birds. The ball right now on the 31-yard line of Rock Springs. Allmiller, along with Hesford, out on top. Michaeli to the near side. 4th down and 6. In motion is Hesford. They'll fake the handoff, fake the pass. Over the middle, got a man, and it's going to be knocked away by Reese. Incomplete. As the T-Birds were wanting a penalty, and I do believe the pass was intended for Julian Vigil, and he was looking for a pass interference.
He was, and that's a rare target for one of the tight ends for Buell. It was there, just maybe thrown a little bit too high, but Reese's timing was perfect from that free safety position.
And a double fake by Buell, where he faked the handoff to Anderton. Then again, like he was going to dump it off to Hesford, and then all of a sudden, right down the middle, he went for Vigil out of the tight end position and could not make the grab. So on turnover and downs, out of the gun, Hymas will pitch it out. And it will be into the hands of Petty. Petty will go absolutely nowhere, maybe back to the line of scrimmage. A little trickery there by the Tigers, and that nets them nothing.
One of the rare times where they have a rush that goes for a no gain.
So it'll be 2nd down and 10, and we'll actually give them a half yard. We're going to call it 2nd down and a long 9. Petty on the carry. And again, you saw Hymas that time out underneath center, out of the gun. So now Hymas will line up under center, as they will kind of give you a little bit of a flex bone look. And they'll fake the hand up the top. Hymas steps, throws, got incomplete. As he had a man, that would have been Richards around the 35-yard line, but he was well covered.
Well covered by Jackson Hesford, who made a great read. We saw him last week get burned on one and then make a pick on a great read, and there was able to get his hand on it to now put Rock Springs in a 3rd and long, which, Larry, that's the last thing they want is a 3rd and long for this Rock Springs defense.
3rd down for the Tigers. Again, as they're discussing with Hymas along the way and burning some time on the clock, Hymas quickly runs back to the huddle. Gets them set up. 3rd down and long. O'Carey to the near side. Toth is the lone back. Out of the gun is Hymas. And he'll get 5 freebies on East.
Good job there by Hymas. Not only that, you can see the back judge starting to count the last 5 seconds and to call to go on 2 there and get a 5 easy yards. It makes it much more manageable.
So it's third down now for the Tigers and 4, a long 4. And now they'll regroup, huddle up, break the huddle, with Reese and Petty out on top of Carey again to the near side. Hash mark to the near side for the Tigers. Out of the gun is Hymas. He will roll to his right. Rolling, stepping, got a man. That will be Reese, who makes a grab. I think he is right at the stakes across the way, and will have the 1st down.
Yeah, good job there by Hymas. Good patience, and Reese did a great job coming back to the ball, but knowing where he was on the field to make sure he caught it on the other side of the 1st down marker.
No rush by the T-Birds either. Hymas had plenty of time to survey and hit Reese. First down and 10 with the ball on the 41-yard line on the far side. As they will double tight end it. Madsen along with Toth, and now in motion will come Richards. They'll hand it off to Toth. Toth bumped and dropped at the 44. So a pickup of 3 on the play.
Yeah, and again with Rock Springs, you're going to take 3 yards every time. Like 3 yards of carry will get you a first down in 4 plays, and that's what they're.
Well, and what they're doing now with Richards too is they're moving him out of that tight end position, and they bring him into a power I formation in the backfield. So right now it's posing some problems for the T-Birds. So you really have 2 lead blockers in Madsen as well as Richards, and opening up some little holes here for Toth. Now they'll go into that flex bone look, and they'll pitch it back to Toth. He gets a block from Hymas, drives to the 49-yard line, and it'll be 3rd down and 2. Hymas quickly runs over to the side to get the play. Again, they're on the hash mark to that far side. 3rd down 2, and we're under a minute to play. Tigers lead 7-0 here in quarter number 1, where they've controlled the football most of the quarter.
Yeah, and you were talking about the extra lead blockers from the backfield. Plus, they have the 300-pound linemen as well that are plowing the way. It's a lot to get through for this East defense.
Reese to the near side, and he'll carry out on top. And they'll pitch it back this time again to Toth. Toth will be stopped shy of the first down. Second effort will get him the first down. That is a nice effort by Landon Toth, who kept the legs pumping, and he will have the first down, East Territory, at the 47-yard line. Fresh set of downs and a 1st and 10.
11 carries for 62 yards for Toth in this first quarter, as it looks like they'll maybe get one more off here.
Well, you know, the thing is, too, this is going to wear and tear on East because, again, you have guys, and I might be wrong here on the number, I think about a half dozen guys that go both ways.
Well, just think about linemen. You have Heckman playing both ways. Montoya plays both ways. Higgins plays both ways. That's 3 of your 5 offensive linemen that are going both ways.
Miller, along with Schroeder and Hesford, and they're going to let the clock wind down. After 1, Rock Springs 7, East nothing, back after the 60-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. Have a check on the scoreboard as we get ready for action here in quarter number 2. Thunderbirds trailing 7-0, first down and 10, and this time they will pitch it to O'Carey. O'Carey, 40-yard line, 35 as he is upended. Nice tackle by Chance Miller to at least limit the damage to the 35.
Misdirection play to start the second quarter. Big play for Rock Springs.
Talk about a good game plan for the Tigers as they've come here to Okie Blanchard Stadium right now and basically taken this crowd out of the game.
They possessed the ball for 9.5 minutes of that 12-minute quarter.
Again, Richards out of his tight end position will line up for that power I, and they'll hand it off to Toth. Toth wrapped up immediately and driven back. Maybe 2 down to the 33-yard line. Second down and 8, just underway in quarter number 2. Again, the T-Birds won the toss. They deferred to the second half. At the time the wind was blowing, it has picked up again, so right now the Tigers have the wind at their back.
Which when you run the ball, it doesn't matter where the wind's blowing, especially the way they're running.
Second down and 8. Again, out of a flex bone. They'll pitch it back this time to the 29-yard line. And on the run, it looked like that was Schoenfeld. Schoenfeld out of the tight end position. So he will bring it inside the 30 to the 29. They need to get to around the 25, and it will be 3rd down and 4. And what we can say about the Tigers, they've converted all their 3rd downs thus far.
6 different running backs, or 6 different carries, or 6 different players with a carry thus far. Hymas also somebody that likes to run the ball without an attempt thus far.
3rd down, they'll pitch it back to Toth. Toth straight ahead, still on his feet. Down to the 15-yard line, and another 1st down for the Tigers.
They're going to have to find an answer for Landon Toth. That's now 13 carries for 78 yards.
So the Tigers knocking on the door in the red zone again.
They've also started 4 for 4 on 3rd down.
Cheyenne East right now, they are kind of back on their heels and can't find a way to shut this big offensive line as well as running backs down. Hymas over center. Pitches it back to Madsen. Madsen cuts it back inside down to the 12-yard line and a pickup of 3. So it's 2nd down and 7 for the Tigers, who are looking to add to their 7-0 lead. We also will get you caught up on scores here in a little bit because we do have action already in progress.
22 plays ran by Rock Springs thus far, just 7 for Cheyenne East.
Tigers, 2nd down, 7 at the 12. Hymas in the gun. Low snap. He'll call his own number. Gets away from one tackler inside the 10 down to the 7 or 8 yard line. I think they're going to mark him at the 8. So he'll be shy of the 1st down by 3. So it'll be 3rd down and 3.
Good job by Hymas to dodge the first tackle. It looked like that could have been a tackle for loss right there for East, but he's able to high step out of the ankle tackle and get positive yardage.
So they'll take out the smaller guys and bring the big guys on a 3rd down and 3 at the 7. And I'll stand corrected. The ball is marked on the 8. Hymas over center. Richards behind him. They'll pitch it back to Madsen. Madsen gets away from one tackler. He'll be short of the 1st down. And it was a nice job. Almost another tackle for loss by Cheyenne East. Madsen will be dropped at the 6. It'll be 4th down and 1. Right now, the way the Tigers are running the football, do you really want to go for 3?
No, you give it to Toth right here because Toth has been – nobody's been able to get him behind the line of scrimmage to this point. That's the first 3rd down they haven't converted on. So, I mean, you might as well. You got to put your foot on the throat against a team when you're trying to make an upset. You have to make a play when it's not expected.
I would think Hymas can sneak it, hard count it, many options. He's got Richards right behind him, the big tight end. 4th down and 1. They'll pitch it back and fumble. Who has it? T-Birds say they got it.
And they do.
The Thunderbirds have recovered the fumble inside the 5 at the 1 yard line. Fumbling the football was Schoenfeld. So Schoenfeld fumbles as he got inside the 5. Ball squirts loose, and the T-Birds, well, you want to talk about a long way to pay dirt, they're on the 1.
But at least they kept the ball out of the end zone and kept Rock Springs off the scoreboard. Now you're going to have to – Anderton's going to need to get some tough yardage right here for Cheyenne East, you would think, or a quick hitter outside for Buell.
That was huge for the T-Birds. Buell about 5 yards deep in the end zone. Anderton 6 yards deep. Hesford a yard deep. They'll give it off to Anderton. He's bumped as he will lunge forward to the 3. A pickup of 2 on the play. It's 2nd down and 8. Wow. They've got a lot of real estate to maneuver right now. 2nd down and 8 with the ball on the 3 yard line. Buell still sitting in the end zone along with Anderton. Graydon again to Anderton, trying to go off tackle. Anderton bounces away from one would-be tackler and then gets back maybe to the line of scrimmage. He ran into the big guys there, and I'm talking Tyler, number 77.
Well, one thing you see there too, Larry, how many orange hats were on Anderton once he was initially hit. You saw about 4 or 5 red hats. They're gang tackling like nobody's business right now are the Tigers on defense.
3rd down and 8. Buell is back to pass. He rolls to his right. He's got a lot of room. Throws. Got a man wide open on the sidelines across the way. Making the grab is Cole Michaeli and gets him out of harm's way.
Not really sure why they wouldn't try to put pressure on Buell there. It gave him way too much time, and Michaeli was all by himself at the 27.
So the ball is officially spotted on the 27-yard line. Interesting enough, too, Buell probably could have run for the first down. There was a lot of green in front of him. High snap, swing it out. Hesford, 30-yard line, 35, and then slammed out of bounds. And where's the flag that time? No flag, as the back judge was a little late arriving on the scene.
Yeah, and you can see the bench. Everybody wanted it as far as the bench goes. They wanted that late hit called as he clearly had him out of bounds before he threw him down.
12 yards on that pass reception and run by Hesford. So Buell out of the gun to Anderton. 40-yard line. Gets a block. 10 midfield. 40. 30 down the sidelines to the 20. Tripped up and dropped by, and I think the saving tackles by Justice Reese as he drops him at the 14-yard line. What a run by Christian Anderton.
25 yards on the run. And how about this, Larry? It looked like Rock Springs was going to go in and go up 14-0. They get the ball at the 1 to East, and now they're in the red zone.
Ball on the 14-yard line of the Tigers. Buell out of the gun. Anderton to his right. Back to pass. Steps, throws, got a man! Down to the 1-yard line. Cole Michaeli. And the T-Birds will have it first down and goal.
Michaeli coming up with some big plays here. One on 3rd down and one right there again. Now it's at the 1. As Michaeli may have been a little shaken up on the play, we're going to see
Jake Ryle will come in.
Yep.
As Rail will come in for Michaeli. Hash mark to the far side. Schroeder will move from the far side to the near side. They'll stack the deck. They'll pitch it to Anderton. Anderton in the end zone. Touchdown. Cheyenne East. Now looking for the equalizer. It's 7-6. A 99-yard drive by the T-Birds. Impressive.
Yeah, that's a great way to answer and great way to reward a defense that had been battling the whole way down the field. They've been out there for already 14 minutes. It had 27 plays against. Great job there by the offense picking up the defense.
Schroeder to attempt the PAT. It will be out of the hole to Buell. I think they're one body short. Placement is down. Kick is no good, off to the right, and I think being the one body short, the T-Birds were more concerned about getting that person on the field. Schroeder misses off to the right. It's East trailing Rock Springs 7-6. We're back after this 30-second timeout on 1480 KRAE.
Let's take a look at our scoreboard as we have 3 games in action across Class 4A. Campbell County up 14-0 over South High. Again, that game having major playoff implications. Thunder Basin up 14-0. That game's in the first quarter against Casper Kelly Walsh. Sheridan over in Laramie, they're up 7-0. That's in the first quarter as well. The other game tonight will be Natrona County, the number 3 team against the number 5 team, Central. And I believe that's actually at Risky Field tonight. So for Central, they're at home, and that's a big matchup for them as they look to try to bounce back from their loss to East last week.
Schroeder will try to boot it away.
Kicking it into the wind now.
Yes, as it will be held for him. Back deep is Reese. Reese will let it go out of bounds. So for the Rock Springs Tigers, they'll get the football, if I'm not mistaken, high school is in the 35-yard line.
I think you're right. It is the 35-yard. Maybe even further than that, too.
No, it should be the 35. So Schroeder's kick, and Reese got really close to it. Then all of a sudden he looked down and saw he was near the sideline and then let it bounce out.
Are they asking if it touched him?
I think it did touch him in the face mask.
We'll see what they call here. Let's see if they pick it up and wave it.
So the flag's
been picked up.
It's
That's
been
big
picked
play.
up, and they have waved it off. So the T-Birds get a break there. And again, Reese, but again, he got close to the sidelines. He saw it. The ball bounced up again on this all-weather turf, hit him on the mask, and then went out. So for Cheyenne East, another break on the defensive side. First down, and they'll spot the ball officially at the 16.
Again, a big play for this East defense at the 1-yard line, coming up with the big turnover. Still down in the game, though, after the missed extra point.
Hymas, he'll pitch it back. They have flooded the far side as they'll give it off to Madsen. Madsen to the 19 maybe, and I think that's what they will do, give him 3 yards on the play, and it will be second down and 7. That was an interesting call. Everybody went to the strong side.
Yeah, it looked like they only had 2 linemen on the right side of the center, and then everybody else lined up on the left side.
We used to call that a monster offense back in the day, where you had just the center and you had a guard and everybody was off to that side. They're challenging you. So now on the hash mark to the far side, out of the flex bone, they'll pitch it back to Madsen. Madsen turns it up over the 20-yard line and will touch at the 21. So it'll be third down and 5. East trails 7-6, sorry.
So, no, I'm going to say this has been East's defense problem. They haven't been able to get off the field on third down. 4 of 5 thus far at Rock Springs in this first half on third downs.
And we're talking a rapidly moving first half on senior night, oh, by the way. So at least with the touchdown, the crowd got back into it. Let's see if the defense can rise now on a third down and 5 call. Hymas will be out of the shotgun. Trips to the near side. He will roll to the near side. He'll look for Reese. In and out. Reese will make the grab. He'll be short of the first down. He bumped into, I do believe it was Schoenfeld. They bumped each other, and the ball came off the shoulder pad and right back into the hands of Reese. So it will be fourth down and 2.
Well, and because of the batted ball, Reese had to come back in front of the first down marker. So right now, Rock Springs really shooting themselves in the foot on offense, and they're going for it looks like.
Now, Madsen also is the punter. So fourth down and 2. Hymas out of the gun.
See if they try to draw him off sides.
Long count. Now they'll look over the sidelines. And now a timeout called by the Tigers. 3:22 left to go in the first half. Fourth down and 2 when we come back after this 30-second timeout. Tigers 6, East, check that, Tigers 7, East 6 on 1480 KRAE. Madsen will drop back in deep punt formation for Cheyenne East. It will be Hasford along with Miller dropping back deep. Hasford looks like he'll retreat to around his 35. Miller also going back a couple more yards as he will be right around the 43. A lot of movement by the Tigers. High snap. Madsen has it blocked. And the T-Birds recover at the 15, 16-yard line. Oh, what a play.
Julian Vigil gets in there on the high snap in a hurry and comes up with the block.
And the Thunderbirds are in business. First down at 10, 16-yard line of the Tigers. And this is the problem that's been haunting the Tigers this season. Mistakes, mistakes, mistakes. This is a very formidable outfit.
Well, this is a team that, as you said, Larry, if they clean up their mistakes, they can compete with anybody in Class 4A. I'm sure as for most teams, the last team you want to see in the playoff is this team. Because if they clean up the mistakes, this is a tough Rock Springs.
It's a senior late in the lineup as well.
Another timeout called by Rock Springs.
So the Tigers will call a timeout with 3:16 to go. Rock Springs 7, East 6. Thunderbird football on the Tigers 16. Back after this 30-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. Down to 10, the Thunderbirds will have their backs in the backfield, and I'm talking about Christian Anderton along with Colton Haugen. In motion is Anderton. They'll fake the handoff. They'll throw it to Anderton, who will be hit immediately and dropped by Petty. And that one almost got blown up. And luckily, Buell got that pass into the hands of Anderton.
Well, and it's a good thing, too, he pump faked because the DN read it really well, jumped up on the first one.
So it looks like it's going to be no gain on the play as Anderton will get it back to the line of scrimmage. Haugen in the backfield. He will line up to the left of Buell. Back to pass goes Graydon. Steps, throws, looking, knocked away. And that was knocked away by Reese as they were trying to hook up with Aumiller. Aumiller was open. Unfortunately, the pass did not get there in time.
Yeah, just a little bit late on the pass, and a good job by Reese. It looked like Buell may have been locked in a little too long on chance right on that play.
Third down, trips to the near side for the T-Birds. Ball on the 16-yard line. Out of the gun, Buell rolling to his left. That breaks down. He rolls to his right. He throws one up. Incomplete on the far side as he was trying to hook up with Michaeli. And on the defensive stop was Andrew Scores. So it will be fourth down, Cheyenne East, 4-down territory, unless you want to go for the field goal. Going to kick into a breeze right now. That would be 26, 36 yards.
A legal man downfield, it looks like. I think they had a flag down.
But it's declined to make it fourth down.
Yeah, now, you see that side judge coming up. Initially, the white hat did not make a sign whether it was accepted or declined.
Now he's going to, again, he's having problems with his microphone, so they're saying the penalty has been declined. Fourth down for the T-Birds, and they're even nixing on the kicking game. Again, I was given a few yards off, about 33 yards the field goal would be, and all of a sudden now the T-Birds want to talk about it. 2:58 to go here in the first half. East trails Rock Springs. Tigers 7, Thunderbirds 6. Back after this 30-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. Proietti, Chris Polton, Nick Proietti as the Thunderbirds face with a fourth down and 10. Ball on the 16-yard line. Again, the Thunderbirds are not going to go for the field goal because as the breeze now again has picked up. So T-Birds on the hash mark to the far side. Buell with an empty backfield.
Rock Springs looks like they're bringing pressure.
Buell back to pass under a heavy rush, and he will be sacked. He'll try to throw it away, incomplete, as he got outside the tackle box. So that was a nice job by Buell as he threw it into the turf. Incomplete.
And unfortunate there for Cheyenne East because they got the blocked punt, but then one thing they didn't try to, well, they tried the one run play, and then that was it. They passed the other three downs. So that's a play we may look back to, or at least a moment we may look back to after what could have been very backbreaking for Rock Springs.
So, Tigers, first down and 10. They have 2 timeouts remaining here in the first half. Ball on the 16-yard line. Hymas out of the gun. He'll have Madsen to his left. Snap is back to Madsen. Madsen breaks free to the 26-yard line, actually the 25. He'll be short of the first down. It will be second down, and let's see where the knees officially touch the 24, so second down at 2.
And to correct you, Larry, Rock Springs has 1 timeout left because they called back-to-back timeouts.
I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong number there. My bad. East has 2 timeouts left. This time they'll go to Madsen again. Madsen helmet to helmet and drives forward. He'll have the first down to the 28-yard line. So it'll be first down and 10 for the Tigers. Still plenty of time for their offense to maybe possibly put up a score before heading in the locker room.
See if Hymas just 2 for 3 for 8 yards passing. We'll see if he starts to cut it loose here and try to gets a chunky yardage.
Petty and Reese to the near side, and he likes to go to Reese. Again, movement, and this will be against whom? Another hard count. And it'll be another mistake against the T-Birds.
Well, both teams haven't been clean, Larry, thus far. Unfortunate for Rock Springs, one of their turnovers led to East points. But East not helping themselves out either by not watching the football, something as basic as watching the football.
First down and 5, 33-yard line. Low snap. Hymas calls his own number straight ahead. Down to the 36-yard line, so give him 3, so it'll be second down at 2. As the clock now has about $1:50 to go here in the first half.
They've had 2 long possessions in the first quarter, but other than that, they haven't been able to get any traction. And, of course, on their last drive.
Hand it off to Madsen again, trying to wear down the Thunderbird defense. Madsen breaks free. One thing about the T-Birds, and you've said this in numerous broadcasts, they're getting that initial stop, but no one there to support.
Yeah, we saw with Rock Springs, when they get one hat there, you see 4 or 5 coming. For East, it's just a little bit too late, and it's allowing Rock Springs to get a little bit extra yardage.
Third down and short to the tune of about a half yard. Clock is momentarily stopped. Now they start it again. Ball at just shy of the 38-yard line. Out of the gun is Hymas. Hymas, Madsen, and he will drive forward. 41-yard line, that'll be a first down. That'll move the chains. The clock has 62 seconds left.
Well, Larry, they're going to have to start throwing the football because this 3-yard a pop right now is not going to do anything for you, especially with only 1 timeout left.
East will be getting the football after halftime. So right now it's very important to shut this down. Low snap, Hymas back to pass. He's going long for Reese, makes the grab as he will be dropped at the 28-yard line.
And a flag on the play,
though. Flag, and it's going to come back. Indication is holding against the Tigers.
What a big penalty right there. We talked about how they need to throw the ball down the field. They finally are able to get a big play, but it's coming back.
And again, nice job on the pattern by Reese as he made the grab. Unfortunately for him, it's all for naught. 38 seconds left. Marching back 10 yards to the And again, this is going to be one of those, again, spot fouls, so they're going to mark it back to the 27-yard line. Hymas quickly up to the line of scrimmage. Bad snap again, and he will throw it almost picked off.
I don't know what defensive lineman did it, but he read the screen perfectly, was right on the back of Matson, and it hit him right as the ball was coming to him.
Again, that was disastrous from the get-go, and the Thunderbirds almost came away with the pick. It is second down with 29 seconds to go. Here's Thunderbirds now. You get a stop. Do you call a timeout?
Well, with 2 timeouts, you can definitely do it. It's going to make Rock Springs run a play, not just run the, try to kneel on it and get to the half.
Again, Hymas will operate out of the gun. He's got trips to the near side. He'll give it off to Madsen. Madsen breaks a tackle. 40-yard line, 43, as he'll get back to almost the original line of scrimmage, looking like the 42. And it will be third down. Now he stepped out. Will they resume the clock? We'll see.
Looks like it stopped, so a good job there by Matson to get out of bounds as well.
Third down and 9 for the Tigers. So he did step out as the Tigers have the ball on their 42-yard line. Reese along with Petty to the near side. Will carry out on top. Back to pass goes Hymas. Again, they'll set up that screen inside as they'll get it to Matson. He'll be well short of the first down. He's dropped at the 44. And about 8 seconds left. I think both teams will be content to go to the locker room as we will reach halftime as both teams are getting ready to trot off the field. And there we go. We have reached the intermission. Entertaining game, and you would think the way I've been calling it, there's a lot of points on the board, but we only have 2 touchdowns to speak of. And wait a minute, we are not sending anybody off yet. Do we have a timeout called?
It looks like there was a timeout called by East. Maybe one more. See if you can't return a punt here, or at least make Rock Springs make a decision.
Or try to go after it. So you're going to have 2 seconds left on the clock. And that's not 0.2. It's 2 seconds, right, Nick? So they put 2 ticks back on the clock. If I'm Rock Springs, I would just kneel on it.
Yeah, just have your quarterback go back a little bit once it's hit 0 and just squat on it. And I think that's what they're going to do as they bring the quarterback out here.
Yeah. I mean, all he has to do is just kind of go back and forth and then just take a knee.
Or, you know what? If they're going to give you an extra chance, maybe try to throw the Hail Mary. You got the wind at your back. Might as well see how far you can throw it.
Go long on it, too. So let's see what happens. He's got to the near side, Petty, along with O'Carey, and Reese out on top. It's fourth down, 2 seconds left. Hymas back to pass. He's going long, looking downfield, and it will be knocked down by the Thunderbirds. It looked like on that one was Hayden Lamb. I think he was going for the INT, but he was looking straight ahead and did not secure the football.
Well, if Lamb catches that too, there's a whole lot of room in front of him because the offensive line was all the way on the far side of the field.
So we have reached the intermission now officially here at Cheyenne East. It is Rock Springs 7, Thunderbirds 6. We'll be back after a 2-minute timeout. You're listening to high school football right here on 1480 KRAE. Back to the Okie Blaster Sports Complex. Larry Proietti, Chris Polton, along with Nick Proietti. Halftime, Tigers 7 and the Thunderbirds 6. And realistically, this could have been even worse for the T-Birds. But also on the other side of the coin, the T-Birds could have been in the locker room up minimum by a couple of points. So they had an opportunity that they let slip through their fingertips. But also, too, they provided an opportunity for the offense, the defense did, to get them back into the game. So it's been a topsy-turvy type of first half for Cheyenne East. As the Tigers, to their credit, they've dominated. They're their own worst enemy.
Well, they've had, out of the 24 minutes of that first half, they had the ball for about 19 and a half minutes. East has had the ball for about 4.5 minutes. That 99-yard drive that East went on was a minute 50. So, for Rock Springs, they're playing, the game plan's perfect. Keep the offense off the field. And they did that in the first half, but they couldn't finish, especially when they're at the 1-yard line.
Tonight's game being brought to you by MHP, LLP, Lennox Auto Body, Little Philly, Mary's Mountain Cookies, Medicare Pharmacy, Meridian Trust Federal Credit Union, Merritt Plumbing Heating, Page and Zach Lane at number 1 Properties, Pepsi of Cheyenne with our Pepsi Scoreboard, Pete's Builders, Platte Valley Bank, Taco John's, the Gill Window Company, Wyoming Department of Transportation, Cheyenne Regional Medical Center, the Injury Prevention Program, Laramie County Community College, Key of Cheyenne, and First Tier Bank. At the intermission, Rock Springs leads 7-6. Also, we want to thank Arrow Moving and Storage, B&B Appliance and TV, Baskin Robbins, Billy Adelman with the flight crew at LCCC, the Bread Basket Bakery, Burns Insurance Company, Capital Lumber Company, Charles Schwab, Shine Auto Repair and Service, Chick-fil-A, Fat Boys Tire and Auto, First Education Federal Credit Union, Foot of the Rockies, Holiday Motors, High West Energy, Joed Produce, along with Kuzma Success Realty. So as we add up the numbers here, and again, you're looking at a team that just dares you to stop them on the ground, and East has been there. It's almost like, Chris, they got the game plan down pat. Unfortunately, it's like I can't get that second guy to come up and drop the guy for a loss. We got him bottled up, and then again, the leg strength by both Madsen, Richards, and, of course, Toth. These guys are strong legs, and, again, when you got the big hosses pounding on you, you're going to get some extra yardage.
They are. One thing East is doing well is their containment is not breaking. The DNs are getting through the first level, but the problem is the linebackers aren't doing their job inside. The DNs are keeping everything inside where everybody's at. The linebackers aren't coming up because of how big that offensive line is. So you're seeing a lot of safeties having to come in to finish tackles because, unfortunately, right now, the East in that first level, nobody's able to get a strong enough hold on them to keep them there waiting for other hats to come there.
Now, here's another thing, too, that kind of bothers me a little bit is Hymas may want to start throwing the football. Mm-hmm. And, obviously, his favorite target is Justice Reese. The secondary got tested a lot last week by Cheyenne Central. So, again, the Tigers are not a throwing team, but they know when to throw it, and here's a situation too where that secondary right now is kind of a little flat-footed back there, and they better be ready to roll because, again, in addition to Reese, you got Petty, you got O'Carey, you got Schoenfeld out there. I mean, these guys all got hands, so it makes me a little nervous that they might be a little lax here in that passing game because, again, Mark Lenhart and his crew, they came out with a great game plan. Keep the offense, like you said, keep the offense of East on the sidelines.
Well, I'm sure right now, if you're Coach Goff, you're talking about the fact that Rock Springs ran 37 plays. They ran just 17. If I told Coach Goff you're going to have 20 less plays on offense than the other team, but you're only going to be down 1 point, I bet you he'll take that to the bank because of the fact that if you have a team that runs 20 more plays than you, you're probably down by a couple of touchdowns.
Well, the question will be at halftime, what magic will the Thunderbirds bring out with them in the second half? And again, last week we saw Central jump ahead, and then all of a sudden it was East. I mean, it was like the alarm clock went off, and then boom, 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 they came down the field. I mean, it was almost like they needed something to test them last week. All right, well, the gauntlet's already been thrown out at East. So are they going to come back and answer right away? They must when they get the football to open up the second half.
And you'd like to see Buell find Chance Allmiller. Again, this is a second week in a row where he's gone a whole half without a catch. And he only had one target in that first half as well. So look for Buell and Allmiller, for Coach Goff and the offensive coordinators to really try to find a way to get the ball in Chance Allmiller's hand.
Well, also, too, and then again, you look at the Hesfords, the Andertons, also Cole Michaelize. These are guys that you got to keep your eye on as well. And again, we haven't really seen Christian, again, with 17 calls offensively, you haven't seen him get with the football a lot this evening. So again, the Thunderbirds in the locker room discussing it, the Tigers in their locker room discussing it, and I'm telling you right now, that Tiger team has been in just about every game this season. And again, especially with this upper echelon of the reload teams in Class 4A, and they got to be feeling pretty good about themselves, even though they're only leading by one. It's 7-6.
Yeah, if you're Rock Springs, absolutely. There's things that you have to do on the road to upset a team. Now, granted, in that first half, there was things that they did that did not help them. A blocked punt, which their defense bailed them out of, but fumbling on the 1 yard line. If you're Coach Lenhart, you're telling your team, hey, we're right there. We're the ones doing all the mistakes. They're not doing anything to shake what we're doing. If they stick to the game plan, take care of the football, there's no reason why they can't come out of here with the win.
All right, we're going to take a 2-minute timeout. We're going to come back. We're going to check out the latest scores as our game is at halftime. 7-6 in favor of the Tigers over the Cheyenne Thunderbirds. We're back after these words right here on 1480 KRAE.
If you're looking for fun and style, then the new 2019 Kia Optima has what you need. And here at Kia of Cheyenne, we can help you own one. I'm AJ Miller, and the 2019 Kia Optima will reward your daily drive with comfort, performance, and advanced engineering. Kia Optima technology, your phone allows access to remote lock or unlock, climate control, 24-hour roadside assistance, and much more. Come in, call 775-0123, or go to KiaofCheyenne.com, and we'll make it easy.
Back to Okie Blanchard Sports Complex. It's 7-6 our score. Rock Springs over East after one half of play. Let's look at the scoreboard, what's going on around Class 4A at the moment. South is getting hammered in Gillette right now, 28-9. I'm assuming VJ Pitter getting loose against the Fighting Bison out there in Gillette. Thunder Basin, they're also in Gillette. They're hosting Kelly Walsh. They're up 35-0. So the Gillette schools having themselves a big night. Sheridan up in Laramie, or over in Laramie, 28-0. That's in the second quarter. The Bronx leading that one. Still no score yet has been reported. That's Central hosting Natrona County. Let's look at our first half stats. Rock Springs averaging 200 yards a game. They're second in Class 4A in rushing, and they're well on their way to doing that once again, as they, just between Matson and Toft, they have 130 yards. But for Hymas passing, he's 3 of 6 for 10 yards, 2 catches for Reese for 8 yards. He did have a 35-yard catch that was nullified by a holding call. Madsen has a catch for 2 yards. As far as running goes, it's Madsen with 12 carries for 52 yards. Toth, 13 carries, 78 yards. He had a 2-yard touchdown run in the first quarter that capped a 12-play drive for Rock Springs to open the night. Hymas, 2 carries, 7 yards. It's Petty with 1 carry for 1 yard. You have Schoenfeld with with a carry for 4 yards.
And he also had that fumble.
And the fumble, yeah. And then Carey has a carry for 12 yards. And it's sorry, they got so many guys with getting carries right now. You have
you had Richards
with a carry for 4 yards as well. For East, 17 plays, you're not going to get a lot of yards.
There's not a lot of offensive highlights to pass along for the Thunderbirds.
Absolutely not. This is a team that's number 1 in yards per game in total offense. But for Graydon Buell, he was 4 of 10 in that first half for 48 yards. Christian Anderton, 7 carries, 49 yards. He had a 1-yard touchdown run in the second quarter. As far as catches go, Hesford has 1 catch for 12 yards. Michael 2 catches for 36 yards. Anderton had a catch, but for no yards. So a lot of usually it's the other way around. We're saying the East offensive stats, that takes us a little bit longer, but tonight it's Rock Springs doing their job. And really, you'd have to say when it comes to which team is imposing their will, Rock Springs won that first half.
We want to mention next Friday, as we wrap up the regular season, we will stay in town. We will go across the way. We'll go north on 25 as we will be at Milt Risky Field. It'll be Cheyenne Central playing host to the South High Fighting Bison. As you were reading the scores, it's not looking favorable for the Fighting Bison right now. And again, they're going to match up with a Central team who, as we have seen, I guess the growth of Cheyenne Central from week 1 after the beat down by Thunder Basin. The next weekend we saw a little better improvement against Sheridan. Then they reel off 4 straight victories. Took East to the limit last week. I think tonight, and again, it remains to be seen when we do the final numbers as we sign off, they're going to give Casper and Natrona all they can handle.
Well, this could be that signature win in the Mike Apodaca early regime. If they can knock off Natrona County, this could be that signature win that this team has been looking, that will put them maybe with the group of that top 4, join them with the East, Natrona County, Sheridan, and Thunder Basin. Because right now you see those 4 teams, and there's been a little bit of a drop, at least the last couple of years. Central trying to close that gap a little bit more with that win. Not only do they potentially keep their hopes alive to host a first-round game, but it also gives them a good chance to really just stay at that 5 spot, especially if East is able to come back here. It would give them, I would say, a game and a half, since they own the tiebreaker over Rock Springs, lead in that as far as being a top 5
But also,
team.
too, and again, I go back prior to Mike Apodaca, the coach in front of Mike Apodaca. They went up to Casper and Natrona, and again, this was a team that shouldn't win, and won like 5-0. So this is about 3-4 years ago. So anything can happen. But I think with the Indians, and again, we've had that opportunity following them over the last couple of weekends. Nick and myself at Casper, Kelly Walsh, and of course last weekend here. We're seeing both sides of the football mature.
Right.
So, and again, they had their opportunity at least to tie it last week. Unfortunately, again, Schroeder missed the kick. So did Tippett. Missed it from that same type of hash mark. So, as a matter of fact, same area of the field.
Right. Exactly.
So, you look at a situation like one kick, and who knows what the standings could be. We could have had overtime last weekend. But I think Natrona has shown this season, and again, they're a good outfit. Coach Steve Harshman has been doing this 20-plus years now. But the thing is, they've got chinks in their armor. And East showed us that when they were down 14-0 at Cheney Alumni Field, and then it was back and forth before they got the double overtime win on the pickoff of Buell in the end zone. And Coach Harshman said, heck with this, let's go for the win now. We're not even going to mess around.
Not even mess around. And that was a game where Chance Allmiller had 5 touchdown catches, so you'd like to see what Andrew Johnson could do, because we saw them head-to-head last week, and that was a great battle. But you're looking at Andrew Johnson, who's starting to put himself as one of the elite receivers in the league as well, and he has a chance to prove that once again and have a big game tonight.
And also, too, you can't just watch Brock Storbo,
right,
Brady Storbo on the other side of the Twin Towers. He was a big factor last week, and they don't even throw enough to Talent yet. Plus, you got Lobato. So you got 5 offensive weapons, and it's interesting, too, especially with Dawson McCleary. McCleary doesn't like to run the football. So, again, he's going to sit back there as long as he can, and if he has to, swing out to either side of the gate, he's going to do it. But, with the Indians right now, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I think they're going to give Natrona a battle tonight over at Risky Field.
Well, and you just want to start building that momentum for the playoff. Central knows they're going to be in the playoffs. They know no matter where they are week one, for week one of the playoffs in the quarterfinals, no one wants to see them first. Just like with East, nobody wants to see East first, because these are 2 teams that are starting to play to almost at their full potential.
And, you don't want to say this in disrespect to South, but you look ahead towards next weekend, not so much a tune-up game, but, hey, that should be a game that gives you plenty of momentum. Because, again, you'd be remiss to say Central should win that thing by about at least 3 scores.
Right, absolutely, and especially a team that doesn't run the ball as effective as most teams do, especially in the top 5. It could be a great chance for Lobatos to have a big game, as South has struggled to stop the run all season.
All right, we're going to take a 2-minute timeout as the T-Birds come back onto the field. Our halftime show with the East High Marching Band has wrapped up, so they got to get them off the field. Then they'll tack on an additional 3 minutes on the scoreboard for a 23-minute halftime. So we'll be back after a 2-minute timeout right here on 1480 KRAE.
College has been something that's always been on the back of my mind.
This is where I found what I wanted, one of my passions, what I really love to do.
In class, I feel more engaged.
The people here do care about you, and they want to help you succeed in life.
They make it so easy to be a parent and be able to still go to school.
I like the way I'm improving.
I love being, part of the WHSAA family, and I'm glad I made this step in my life.
The field. Tigers are back on the field. East will have the second half kickoff. And again, if there's any drive that is ultra critical, it's going to be this one out of halftime.
It is, and it does look like East will be going left to right. We thought they'd be going right to left because that's where they started.
Well, now Rock Springs has that option.
Oh, they have, because of the fact they deferred. So, Rock Springs, again, for them, win doesn't matter. So let's get the win out of the way as far as being on the back of East and give it to them here in the third quarter.
And we've seen over the last couple of weekends with the wind out here at Okie Blanchard, It really hasn't made a difference. It's actually thrown off timing both the McCleary and Buell last week.
Yeah, for Graydon Buell, well, one, Buell for the most part gets rid of the ball pretty quickly. We don't see Buell throw the ball that far down the field too many times. A lot of them are quick hitters, quick hitches, and stuff, and things of that sort. So, Buell, he can really throw into the wind because he's able to throw it low and hard.
All right, you have Hesford and Schroeder back deep. Up around the 25-yard line is Adrian Hernandez along with Jake Rayo. It will be Madsen to boot it away. I think he won't have to have an assist even though the winds are blowing.
Yeah,
they're not stiff. Yeah, Madsen will boot into the wind. Nice kick, and it'll come down to the hands of Hesford. 15, 20, 25, 30-yard line, wrapped up and dropped at the 31. And then the late flag comes in. What do we got going on? Some extracurricular activity away from the football.
And it looks like Rock Springs is saying it's going to be against East, so we'll see. They've already had one unsportsmanlike conduct.
It's a holding or a block in the back more than anything. So for the East High Thunderbirds from the 31, they're going to mark it back to the 21. And again, this happened after the play. So they'll discuss it with the Tigers, and obviously they're going to march them back. So the Thunderbirds now, instead of having 69 yards to navigate, they're going to have 79.
Well, they do have a 99-yard touchdown drive already tonight, so I'm sure being backed up a little bit here won't do anything to this East offense as far as their confidence goes.
Buell talking things over with Anderton in the backfield. First down and 10 on the 21. East going left to right. Hand off to Anderton. Anderton wrapped and smothered. I mean, he didn't even get a chance to get on track, and he was dropped at the 20, a loss of 1.
One thing to mention, too, we haven't even brought this up yet. This is Graydon Buell was the freshman starting quarterback for this Rock Springs team. So you got to think on this defense, too, they want to get after Graydon Buell.
Diamond package for the East High Thunderbirds out on top, and to the near side, it's Michael. Back to pass goes Buell. He's got a man. It's caught. That's Hesford. Hesford still on his feet. Into midfield. Now into territory of the Tigers, down to the 46. Hesford, another great catch for Cheyenne East. Quick slant as he makes the grab, and the Thunderbirds now in the Tigers' territory at the 46.
Just a timing play where Buell put it right on the money for Hesford to get some yak yards.
Buell, Anderton. Anderton stumbles to the 43 as he'll pick up 3. It's second down and 7.
Look for Anderton to get a few more touches. Of course, with only 17 plays, he still had half the touches in that first half. But here with 2 quick carries, he's broke one earlier.
Second down and 7. Buell on the fly sweep. They'll give it to Hesford. Hesford tripped up. He lunges forward. He will be near the first down, but short by a yard. They need to get to the 36. I think they're going to spot him at the 37, probably 38, so it's going to be third down and 2. Again, tripped up. You could see getting hit on the foot, and it made him stumble forward. Third down and 2 for the T-Birds. Buell out of the gun. Anderton, straight ahead, first down to the 35-yard line, and East will have a fresh set of downs.
Anderton doing a good job not letting that first one get him down. The contact was made right at the line of scrimmage, but with how hard Anderton was running and staying low, he's able to drag the defender for 2 yards and a first down.
Michael and Schroeder to the near side, hash mark to the near side. Out on top, it will be, again, Chance Ahmiller, who is on a milk carton right now as far as they have him so bottled up along with Hesford. Off to the right is Anderton. Buell out of the gun. First down and 10 to Anderton again. He's trying to slither his way through. Unfortunately, no gain back to the line of scrimmage. Second down and 10.
Well, we saw it on the very first play of the game for East. They try to get Anderton on a sweep, try to see if they can't get these big guys moving in the middle. Maybe need to try to revisit that again as well, because right now the middle's closed.
And for the T-Birds, it'll be an empty backfield. Second down and 10. Pepsi scoreboard at 9:20 here in quarter number 3. East on the march. Tiger 35-yard line. Back to pass goes Buell. Has time. Steps up, throws, and he overshoots his man. And he was open at the first down marker, that being Chad Miller.
Yeah, another play where Buell had Miller and just a little bit of a misfire. Looks again, Buell's throwing kind of that sidearm pass. I don't know if he maybe got under it a little bit too much. So got to think in that first quarter, he was trying to get his shoulder loose, it looked like.
Rail will come in for Hesford as it's third down and 10. Trips to the near side. Anderton in the backfield. Back to pass goes Buell. Buell sets up, hits Michaeli. Michaeli dropped immediately as he came back for it, almost like a wide receiver screen. And unfortunately for Michaeli, only 2 yards on the gain. It will be fourth down.
Looks like
East will punt it.
Yeah, and you try to get them deep.
So dropping back for the T-Birds to boot it away.
Looks like that's Anderton.
That'll be Anderton, yeah, who does not punt for Cheyenne East. Right now, Justice Reese, is anticipating that the Thunderbirds are going to fake it. Anderton will pooch kick it, and unfortunately, he kicks it right into the end zone. So it will be first down and 10 for the Tigers at the 20-yard line. That one didn't go as planned.
No, not at all. And they had some good momentum and then just stalled right there as Rock Springs did a great job against the rush. And when they don't get any gain on that first and second down, it makes it tough when they're behind the chains.
So for the Tigers, they'll have it first down and 10 on their own 20-yard line. Again, this is a team that likes to punch you in the mouth, and you said that earlier in our broadcast. This is a scary team. They got some big beef up front. Lone back in the backfield is Madsen. Hymas over center, and he will hand off to Madsen. Madsen cuts back and will pick up 5 to the 25.
And Madsen just continues to get stronger. He started off slow, but his last few carries have gone for 7 and 5 and 5.
And the thing is, too, he's about 7-8 yards deep in the backfield, and he waits for those big hosses up front to open up that hole just enough for him to get through. Second down and 5 for the Tigers. O'Carey comes to the near side. Reese split way out on top along with Petty. Petty flanked on top. Hymas over center. And again to Madsen. Madsen will be bottled up, dropped maybe a couple of yards on the play. Third down and 3 at the 27-yard line.
Have not seen Landon Toth have a carry since he fumbled it on that fourth down play at the 1-yard line. He's still stuck at 13 carries. They've been going to Madsen here early.
So with 7:20 to go here in the third quarter, Tigers faced with a third down and actually less than 3, about 2.5. As they'll split Madsen out, empty backfield, Hymas out of the gun. And he'll call his own number. He'll try to feel his way through. I think he'll be short by a yard. It'll be fourth down at the 29-yard line. That was an interesting call by Hymas as he was trying to feel his way through instead of just putting his head down.
Must have got a favorable spot. They're going to call
They're going to say it's at the 30. The ball is shy of the 30-yard line, and they're going to say he got the 30.
Well, if you're East, too, with the empty backfield, you had to be on alert for that QB draw, and Hymas did a good enough job to get barely enough for the first down.
First down and 10, then, for the Tigers on the 30. Hymas getting out of the backfield. He will flare it out as he will hit O'Carey for a very short gain of about 3 to the 33.
Good tackle there by Hesford in open field.
So it will be second down and 7. Interesting spot by the officiating crew because usually when you get the 30, the ball is on the 30.
Well, and it looked like the near sideline judge had it in front of the 30, just short of the 30, and it was the far judge that had overruled him.
Again, Hymas calls his own number, and he will bounce forward shy of the 36-yard line. They'll give him the 35 for sure. and it'll be 3rd down and 5. Another critical defensive down for the T-Birds.
Yeah, once again, empty backfield. If you're in that front 4, especially those linebackers, the first thing you got to be looking at is the QB draw. You can see Hymas even lean forward before the snap even comes in as he's trying to build momentum getting to the line.
Same thing again, empty backfield. Hymas out of the gun. And he's back to pass. He'll roll to his right, steps, throws, incomplete. Left it well short as he was trying to hook up across the way there with O'Carey. And it'll be 4th down, so the T-Birds should get good field position as, again, the Tigers will be kicking into the wind. Dropping back deep will be Miller along with Hassford. Madsen is the punter.
Well, and again, Larry, I don't like the fact that they went empty sets. The heavy sets have been working for you. I know you want to try to show different formations, but when something's working, why go away from it?
Madsen puts a foot into it, and Miller picks it up. 40-yard line, dances his way to the 43, lost the football, but he's down as that one squirted right out as he got popped pretty hard. So East will have great field position, ball on the 43-yard line, a lot of time left here with the wind at their back, the breeze at their back here in the 3rd quarter, 4:52 on the Pepsi scoreboard.
Well, and for a chance to take their first lead tonight as well. They had a chance to tie the game. Ox Schroeder with the big missed extra point, which right now is, you have to say, is one of the biggest plays of the game because of the fact that it should be tied at this point. Of course, East had a block punt in the first half at their 21 or at the Rock Springs 21-yard line. Couldn't come away with points either.
Schroeder along with Miller to the near side. Anderton alone back in the backfield, out of the gun. Back to pass goes Buell. He'll connect with Miller. Miller driven out of bounds. He'll have the first down into Rock Springs territory to the 45-yard line.
And that's the first catch for Chance Miller. We talked before we even came on air. He's 308 yards away from the single-season record set by Christian Mayer back in 2014, a Bighorn.
Buell again operating out of the gun. First down and 10 trips out on top. And we'll go to Anderton. Anderton, nowhere. I mean, absolutely nowhere.
Well, again, we talk about the big hosses, but Carson Tyler, it just looks like nobody can move him right now. They had 2 hats on him, did East, and he did not budge. And he's the prototypical defensive tackle. He's just going to suck in linemen, and you see those linebackers come in right behind him to clean it up.
He is just basically swarming that defense. Again, on the option, they'll pitch it out to Anderton. Anderton tries to cut back and up, where he will be dumped at the 40-yard line. So the 41.
42 even.
Well, the official, again, make up your mind. First he stops at the 40, then he goes to the 41, now the 42. Only 3 on the play. It is 3rd down, a big 3rd down for Cheyenne East and 7. Hash mark to the far side. Buell redirecting Anderton to the backfield. Fake the handoff to Anderton, back to pass. Steps, throws it low and incomplete. As Schroeder can't come up with it, I mean, that one was drilled right into the ground.
Yeah, if he made that catch, that was going to be quite impressive because of the fact it was thrown so low off the turf.
Plenty of time for Buell to throw the football as he had a chance to size it up and go for Schroeder, but again, threw it straight down in the ground. So Anderton will boot it away. The last time he was hoping to pooch kick it and then put it into the end zone. So Anderton stands back around his 45-yard line. Snap is back. And this time he'll kick it end over end. Takes an east bounce into the end zone, and the Tigers will have the football again on the 20-yard line. So, good news, there's no return. Bad news, you can't pin them back deep.
Well, and we'll see if Rock Springs decides to not be as fancy on this possession. We saw them go empty back set, and it didn't work out for them. In that first half, they were successful because they went with their heavier sets. They went with their overloads to the left and to the right, and you saw Toth and Madsen get loose a little bit. And we'll see if they try the same thing here.
Well, they're going to go back to the nuts and bolts out of that little flex bone, and they'll pitch it back to Madsen. Madsen trying to get outside. He's bottled up and maybe stumbles forward for a couple to the 22.
Good job there by East. They were able to fight through that first level,
and
first
pursue,
wave.
Yeah.
Right. And they had a good backside pursuit as well.
So 2nd down and 8. Pepsi scoreboard right now with 3:10 and winding down here in quarter number 3 as the T-Birds trail 7-6.
We knew from the get-go this was going to be one of the tougher, more physical battles for East this season, and Rock Springs has lived up to the bill.
Petty along with Reese out on top, and a quick count, back to pass, goes Hymas. His pass is blocked and knocked down. Who got through there? Was that Vigil?
It was Vigil.
Julian Vigil came through with the paw up there and knocked it down. As he swats it down, it'll be 3rd down.
The discipline right there by Vigil, 1, to get his hands up, but 2, who I'm not sure who it was, one of the linebackers was able to pick up Okiri because he was the one that was trying to sneak out off the play action. Good job there by East and the discipline on defense.
3rd down and 8. Tigers don't like this position here. Madsen to the left of Hymas, out of the gun. Back to pass goes Hymas. He steps. He throws. It's going to be incomplete as he overshoots Reese. Good coverage also by Lamb for Cheyenne East, and Reese might have hurt himself as he came down hard on the turf.
That's a big miss right there for Hymas because they had a linebacker on Reese, and Reese had all that real estate in the middle of the field. If he puts a little bit more air under that, that gives Reese a chance to come get it. But a big 3rd down stop for East once again, and now barring a punt here, it should be a big punt here. Should be really good field position once again for East.
Hesford and Anderton now back deep for Cheyenne East. Madsen gets the snap back. He'll boot it away. It's high and it's deep. Nice punt. Anderton picks it up at the 37-yard line, trying to get a block, and kind of just, swayed back and forth and got about 5 on the return to the 43. So it'll be 1st down and 10, good field position for the 3rd time for the T-Birds.
Well, maybe they should just run it back to the 1-yard line and start there because all the plus field position they've had, they haven't had too much luck this far. But another opportunity for East to grab a second-half lead. Their defense has done a great job after that first drive. It looked like East was going to be in up for a long night after that first, really the second drive until that turnover on the 1-yard line. Hey, you got to tip your cap to the East defense, though, because they've really been able to settle things down on the defensive side of the ball.
Empty backfield. Miller, along with Schroeder and Anderton out on top. Michaeli, along with Hesford to the near side. Check that's Rail to the near side. In motion comes Anderton. They'll give it to Anderton. Anderton turns it up. Still on his feet as he's driven down at the 49-yard line. Nice run by Christian Anderton. That's what they needed, 6 yards on that pop.
Well, we'll like to see if they try to get the defensive line to move more left and right, not try to go right into the teeth of the defense. We've seen Hesford have a couple of successful runs that way, and Anderton right there, a good 1st down run of 6.
Nice little fly sweep again for the T-Birds. And back to pass goes Buell. He's going to loft one for Michaeli, who was out of bounds and incomplete.
That was a weird play. Nobody on the left side moved. No, Miller didn't go out for a passer. Only Michaeli was the only one that went out for a pass play there.
Try to go with the height advantage with Michaeli, and it will be, again, going up against scores. And the pass just floated out of bounds. It was not a good touch pass. 2:02 left to go, 3rd down for the T-Birds and a long 4. Buell, empty backfield, out of the gun. Back to pass. Steps, throws, got a man! It's caught! That's Hesford to the 20! 15, 10, inside the 10-yard line. Jackson Hesford makes the grab, coming across, and will go all the way down to the Tigers' 6-yard line.
What a great job. Buell just put the ball on the money. That's another post play where Hesford is hit in stride, and since he's hit in stride, he's able to go a long way with it.
1st down, a goal. Ball on the 6-yard line. Anderton will move to the right. On the fly sweep, they'll go back to Hesford. Hesford gets outside, turns it up, and and touchdown! As he got inside the pylon, and the T-Birds have grabbed the lead 12-7.
Great job by Jackson Hesford, just finishing the drive off. Of course, O'Carey's done a great job bottling up Miller, so you need somebody else to step up, and it's been Jackson Hesford tonight.
So the T-Birds will go for the 2 to try to get this back into a 7-point lead. They'll look over to the sidelines for the play. Buell now will relay it to the offense. In motion goes Hesford. Left to right. Handoff. No, they'll fake the handoff into the end zone. Caught and good.
Miller is a little shucking up as he went way up to grab the 2-point conversion.
As Miller had the height advantage over scores, and he will convert the 2-point conversion on the pass from Buell. East 14, Rock Springs 7, $1:41 to go in quarter number 3. We're back after this 30-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. First time tonight, the T-Birds have grabbed the lead. They lead 14-7 here at the Okie Blanchard Sports Complex. T-Birds 5-2, and right behind them are the Tigers at 4-3. And the Tigers, barring a couple of mistakes, this team could also be sitting around 6-1 right now.
Right, well, they had a 14-2 lead at half over Thunder Basin. That was in Rock Springs last week. They were held scoreless in the second half. And tonight, they had the ball in the 1-yard line, a chance to take the 14-0 lead. That could have been a big swing.
And they gave one away against Cheyenne Central. So Schroeder will boot it away. Back deep will be Scores along with Reese. And they'll be right around their 20-yard line. And Schroeder will put a foot into it. Reese will pick it up at the 20, 30, 35, and good field position for the Tigers as they will get the football around their own 37.
What's funny, Larry, is in the first quarter, Rock Springs had 1.5 possessions as one possession went to the second quarter. East only had 2 possessions, and then one other possession in the second quarter. Both teams now, this is their third possession here in this third quarter. So talk about a game kind of settling in here in this second half.
And defenses and breaks coming both ways right now for both teams. Tigers looking to equalize as they trail by 7. O'Carey along with Petty and Reese to the near side. Out of the gun. It will be Hymas calling his own number. He's bottled up, driven back, and nothing for Hymas. Maybe the 37. That would be the original line of scrimmage. It'll be second down and 10 with about 80 seconds left here in quarter number 3.
Again, I don't know if Toth maybe got hurt or what, but we have not seen a touch for him since the fumble in that first quarter.
They'll give him 1 to the 38. Second down and 9. Out of the gun, back to pass. Goes Hymas. He's going to go look the other way, and it's going to be picked off.
Oh, he dropped it.
Dropped. Lamb could not come away with it. It was a good old-fashioned tip drill as it was tipped up by Rail, and not coming away with it was Lamb. I thought he had it at the 30-yard line. It'll be third down.
This is why he's on the offensive line. It's the hands.
Under a minute to play, 58 seconds. Wow, I'll tell you what, the T-Birds again got snake bit.
Well, great coverage, though, as they were trying to hit Reese on the big play, but not letting him get deep on him was the defensive back, Rail.
So Schoenfeld will come to the near side along with O'Carey. Madsen in the backfield, and then a timeout is called by the Tigers. 58 seconds left to go here in quarter number 3. East 14, Rock Springs 7. Back after this 30-second timeout of 1480 KRAE. Complex, Larry Proietti, Chris Polton, Nick Proietti. What do you got?
Oh, no, at least a score update, I believe, from Central and Natrona County. 5-0. You just talked about how a few years ago it was 5-0 at Casper. It's 5-0 right now in the first. Natrona County over Central.
Here, it's 3rd down and 9. Everybody in tight with an empty backfield. Hymas out of the gun. He'll roll to his left. He'll step, and it's blocked again. And again, Julian Vigil with the block. It's 4th down.
Vigil standing at 6'2" and just not giving any type of window for Hymas to throw the football. That's now 2 straight 3rd down plays in a row that Vigil, as far as ending the possessions for Rock Springs, Vigil is able to get a hand on the football.
Rusty Horsley might be giving him a call saying, hey, you know what? We could use you as a power forward. Under a minute to play. Madsen back deep. He'll boot it away into the wind. This one off the side of his foot and out of bounds, and the Thunderbirds will come away with good field position. Let's see how the official will mark it off. He'll walk. He'll walk. He's still walking. He'll stop at the 40-yard line. T-Birds again. Great field position. Under a minute to go, 49 seconds to be exact, here in quarter number 3.
Well, and speaking of 49 seconds, their last touchdown drive was 49 seconds for 57 yards. Jackson Hesford was the main man on that drive with the 45-yard catch and run, and then the 6-yard run to cap off the touchdown.
Ball right now, hash mark to the far side for the T-Birds. Michaeli, along with Schroeder to the near side, and Anderton, empty backfield. Miller and Hesford. What does that mean with an empty backfield? That Buell might be throwing it?
You think?
Out of the gun. Buell steps back to pass, pump fakes. Now just dumps it and incomplete. Threw it too low for Miller, and it will be 2nd down and 10.
You got the, I don't know if that's Lenhart or somebody for Rock Springs, one of the coaches on the field trying to talk to one of the officials, upset about something.
So it is now 2nd down and 10 for the T-Birds. Interesting call on 1st down. Anderton now will retreat to the backfield. East checking off the play. Buell now sizing up the defense. Back to pass. He steps. He throws. He's got Miller this time. Miller loses the ball out of bounds. And that'll be enough for the 1st down.
Old trickery play right there by Chance Miller. He's not going to be able to get there, so let's just throw it over there.
That's the old holy roller.
But
right. It wasn't the holy thrower. That was the holy thrower.
Right.
So Miller had the ball burped out of his hands, and the T-Birds, again, this is not the NFL. T-Birds will have a 1st down in Tiger territory at the 48-yard line. That one will be fun to watch when we get a chance to watch that
right.
one. I mean, that thing got burped right out. 1st down and 10, T-Birds. Buell, back to pass. Pump fakes.
Got him.
Wants him. He's got Miller, and he overshoots him. Had him wide open.
Great pump and go. They just ran the hitch, and then they tried the hitch and go. Now, one thing O'Keefe may have gotten away with was the bump because Miller went right by him, and that may have messed up the timing just a little bit. But O'Keefe got away with
Buell wanted a flag and didn't get it. 33 seconds to go. T-Birds looking now to, again, put that cleat into the throat, so to speak.
Again, this has been a long 3rd quarter, 7 different possessions here in this 3rd quarter.
Trips to the near side. 2nd down and 10. Buell swings it out. He's got Hesford. Hesford still on his feet to the 40-yard line as he will pick up 8. It'll be 3rd down and 2, probably the last play of the quarter.
Well, and that play would have gone for a loss if it wasn't for the block by Ox Schroeder to spring Hesford for a good gain, and now a 3rd and short.
Buell was headed over to the sideline. Now they're going to just take a look at the clock as it winds down. So after 3 periods of play, Cheyenne East 14, Rock Springs 7, the final 12 after we take a 60-second timeout right here on 1480 KRAE. Getting ready to get the fourth quarter underway as Graydon Buell trots out. T-Birds right now faced with a 3rd down and 2. Needing to get to the Tiger 38-yard line. Ball on the Rock Springs 40. In motion is Anderson. They'll fake the handoff. Buell calls his own number. 1st down to the 35. Gets outside. Still on his feet. Down to the 31-yard line. It'll be 1st down and 10. Cheyenne East. Big run.
I'll tell you what, we talk about a guy that doesn't run the ball often. That's what you do, is when you least expect it, he tucks it in off a great read play and a big 1st down on a 3rd down play.
Hash mark to the near side. Ball on the 31-yard line for the T-Birds. Anderton is lined up to the right of Buell. Buell back to pass. Looking. He wants it all. Miller makes the grab. Inside the 5, down to the 3-yard line. 1st down and goal. Cheyenne East down to the 3.
Great job there by Miller. Almost able to get himself or drag the defender all the way to the end zone. Extra effort there by Miller, but finally that connection on that post play between Buell and Miller.
T-Birds looking for that knockout punch right now. 1st down and goal. Buell pump fakes, rolls to his left, still on his feet, throws, ball tipped, almost intercepted. It looked like it was Blaine Phillips on that tip, or Blaine Richards, that is, excuse me. Blaine Phillips was with Sheridan many years ago.
Yeah, it looks like some quick cleaning up there as Buell getting thrown down, had the jersey slide over the pad, but great job there by Richards to at least get in the face of Buell, not making it an easy pass for number 13.
2nd down and goal from the 3. T-Birds with the football. In motion goes Hasford, left to right. They'll pitch it out. Anderson cuts it back inside, and nice job by Petty. Petty fought off his block and drops Anderson at the 2. There is a flag down on the 3.
And it looks like it may be on Miller, or maybe Miller's. Looks like he's trying to plead his case, but Michaelite on that one just didn't hold on to the block long enough for Anderton to get around him.
And the T-Birds were clapping. I would hope, again, we don't know.
Well,
Miller holds his arms out, so it's going to be an illegal shift against the T-Birds. So that'll back them up to the 8. And they'll run 2nd down all over.
Well, gives them a little bit more real estate to work with, a team that does like to pass the football.
But you don't want penalties.
Not here, at least.
In the inopportune times.
That is the 4th penalty, 25 yards worth of penalties for East here tonight.
2nd down on the 8. Anderson to the left. It'll be Buell calling his own number. He sweeps outside, puts his head down, and wrapped up at the 5. The ironic part was Buell broke his leg last year at Rock Springs. So I'm a little nervous, too, when Buell's carrying the football.
Yeah, well, I'm sure for East you hold your breath every time as well, because that kind of ended their season as it looked like they were a team that could have competed for a state title with Buell at center.
So Buell will bring the football down to the 5. It is 3rd down and goal.
Yep.
Taking a long time here to get the play in to the T-Birds.
Well, Larry, if you don't get this here, do you kick the field goal and try to go up 2 scores?
I would. Don't want to take points away. Buell back to pass. Flushed out. Rolls to his right. Rolling. Steps up, throws. Incomplete.
He had Anderton trying to box out the defender behind him, and Buell was just trying to throw it right into the numbers, but wasn't able to get it right in the spot for Anderton to make a play, and it looks like the field goal unit will come out.
It'll be 4th down for the T-Birds. Ball on the 5. 4th and goal. Trying for the 3. As Schroeder will now set up straight away. Ball will be on the 13-yard line. Looks like about a 23-yarder.
And with 10-10 left, this could make it a big deal, as it could be a 2-score game.
Snap is back. Placement is down. Kick high enough, long enough. It is good. East 17, Rock Springs 7. We're back after this 30-second timeout on 1480 KRAE.
Let's take a look at our scoreboard here in the Class 4A in the third quarter. Gillette up 42-0 over the Fighting Bison. That's at Campbell County. Thunder Basin, the other side of Gillette, is up 49-7. That's in the third quarter. Sheridan blanking Laramie 42-0 in the third quarter. Natrona County up in the second quarter 12-7. And that's over at Risky Field against Cheyenne Central.
Hey, I remember the name. The coach before Apodaca was one Drew Seffrin. So,
right.
It
all just comes to you.
It's a senior moment for the pro man here. All right. Again, we also have Burns in action tonight. They are at Newcastle taking on the Dogies. At Pine Bluffs, it will be the Hornets. They're playing host to Lingle Fort Laramie, the Doggers. So, Thunderbirds will be kicking off Schroeder, as it will be Lamb to hold again. Schroeder will kick it high in the air, and it's picked up. Want to say that would be Madsen, who brings it back to the 40. So Madsen gives Rock Springs pretty doggone good field position.
So East able to at least get some points on the board, even though they stalled. They were at the 3-yard line. That 5-yard penalty stalled them just a little bit there.
First down and 10 for the Tigers. Madsen, along with Hymas, out of the gun. Back to pass. They'll step. They'll throw. They've got a man. That's Schoenfeld, and the big tight end just ran over Schroeder as he will be dropped at the 47-yard line. That's a 7-yard pickup. And second down and 3. Many options for Coach Lenhart when you have a very short field on second down. Hand off to Madsen. They'll keep it right on the ground. He will drive to the 50-yard line, and that's where he is stopped. So he's at midfield. That'll be enough for the first down. Fresh set of downs for the Tigers at midfield.
Well, and the Tigers moving with a little bit more tempo as they hustle into the huddle. Down 2 possessions with 9:26. The way they play offense, they're going to have to do something they don't like as much, and that's hurry.
Hymas, back to pass. Steps, throws. He's got it again. Schoenfeld, the big body, leans forward another 7 yards, maybe 8, down to the 43-yard line, so it will be 7 yards. And second down and 3.
Nice. These are high percentage throws by Hymas, and that's exactly what you need to do for Rock Springs.
And they'll hand off to Madsen again. Madsen busts through inside the 30-yard line down to the 27. That's a big run for the senior running back.
Yeah, that's his largest run of the 16 yards right there for Madsen, as he was untouched through the first level, nearly was one broken tackle away from putting up 6.
Excuse me, Madsen, the junior running back. This time Hymas will call his own number, and he will go nowhere. Good job defensively by the T-Birds.
The T-Birds have done a great job not reading the football, because Hymas has done that, put it in the belly and take it out quickly, and he hasn't had much room to run after that.
Ball on the 27-yard line, and no gain on the play. Second down and 10. There was an illegal shift.
Started wondering why the clock was stopped, but now I see why. It's the legal shift. That's now the third penalty on Rock Springs for 30 yards. Of course, 2 of them,
I'm having a hard time seeing the flags tonight.
Yeah, well, it was the judge right by the East bench who just dropped it.
So it is now first down and 15. They'll replay the down. 5 yards back. Hymas again out of the gun. They're going to check off the play. Madsen to his left. Back to pass goes Hymas. He steps. He throws, and incomplete. Trying to hook up with O'Carry. O'Carry wasn't even looking for the football. And with him was Lamb, step for step.
Yeah, Lamb with great coverage, and almost was double coverage because they had Schoenfeld running the streak as well right next to him.
Second down, 15. Ball on the T-Bird 32-yard line. Hash mark to the far side. As you will have Petty along with Reese to the near side. Back to pass goes Hymas. They'll set it up for the screen inside. Almost picked off. And almost coming away with it for the T-Birds was Bradley Whitworth.
It's
Whitwright.
third time we've seen a batted pass off of a high miss attempt.
So for the Cheyenne East Thunderbirds, they need this stop right now. It's third down. I would venture to say for Rock Springs, 4 down territory, obviously. Out of the gun. And they'll check it off. Hymas again. Long count. Back to pass. Steps, throws, and he will connect with Petty. Petty collides.
Looks like just a 7-yard gain on that
with Jarrett Taylor at the 25-yard line. A very short gain, or they got back the penalty yardage and a couple. It is going to be 4th down and 8.
They're 0 for 2 on 4th down is Rock Springs. This will be their third attempt and what could be a game-saving type 4th down if they're able to come up with the conversion.
Trips to the near side. Ball on the 25-yard line. Back to pass goes Hymas. Over the middle. He's got a man, and it is caught by Reese to the 15. 1st down and 10 for the Tigers.
That ball was put on the money. It was great coverage. The defensive back for East, I didn't see the number, but was right on his back on that coverage.
Ball on the 15-yard line to Madsen. Madsen runs straight ahead inside the 10 down to the 9. Pickup of 6 on the play. It is 2nd down and 4. Pepsi scoreboard right now with about 7:15 to go.
Again, Landon Toth has not been out in the field since early in that second quarter.
They'll shift Madsen from the left to the right. And then a timeout has been called.
A flag, I think.
There's a flag.
Looks like they're backing up. It may have been a false start on the line.
And that is a killer right there. So dead ball foul, and it will move it back to the 14.
That negates the 6-yard run right there by Madsen, putting Rock Springs in a good position as we're now under 7 minutes.
2nd down and 9. Reese will split out on top. He's joined by O'Carroll. Low snap, back to pass, and into the end zone, wide open. Touchdown is Petty. Petty worked himself free past Lamb, and he will get the 6. So the Tigers make it 17-13.
And for Hymas, that is his 12th touchdown thrown on the season.
Madsen will attempt the PAT out of the hold of Hymas. Snap is back. The kick is good. East 17, Rock Springs 14, 6:44 to go in this contest. We're back after this 30-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. Drive by the Tigers, and of course they had another drive where they fumbled on the 1. They finally found pay dirt. It took them almost 3 quarters to do so.
Well, and they do it with the pass play, not something they do a whole lot of, but Petty was able to sneak away from the tight end. Of course, we're right next to the coordinators for East. You can hear them say, watch the tight end, watch the tight end. Petty lined up at tight end, just ran right into the seam and was wide open.
So for the T-Birds, Madsen will boot it away. He'll have the wind at his back. And back deep for Cheyenne East will be Jackson Hesford along with, looks like Ox Schroeder. So they have retreated back to their 5. We've seen Madsen put a foot into it in the wind. And again, most recently with the PAT. He's got a strong leg. He's a line drive type kicker. He'll approach the football. He'll boot it end over end. Picked up by Schroeder at the 10. Goes outside to the 20.
He's got a
to
lane.
The 30-yard line. He's got a lane. 40-yard line. Midfield driven out of bounds. Oh, what a run by Ox Schroeder. Exactly. You saw that as well as I did.
it was wide as well right there.
I think all Ox saw was the other blue end zone. He was shot out of a cannon, and good news for the Thunderbirds. They're on the Rock Springs side of the football on the 49-yard line. Great return by Ox Schroeder as you look at 41 yards on that return. First down and 10 for Graydon Buell and the East High T-Birds. The junior quarterback, again, operates out of the gun. Trips out on top. Miller and Hesper to the near side. They'll give it off to Anderton. Anderton feels his way on the sweep as he will be near the first down to the 42-yard line. So a pickup of 8 on the play. And if they give him the 41, that will be generous. Now they'll say the 42, so it'll be second down and 3.
One thing you got to like with Anderton, we saw it last week. He got better as the game went on. And here in this fourth quarter with right around 6 minutes, you're going to need Anderton not only to get positive yards, but take care of the football here.
And East is going to have to chew clock. Mm-hmm. So for the T-Birds, second down and 3. Buell on the belly gives it off to Anderton. First down and more. Inside the 40, down to the 36-yard line, and a fresh set of downs for Cheyenne East. Tick, tick, tick will go the clock.
17 carries, 78 yards now for Anderton. He had 25 carries last week for 90 yards.
So the Thunderbirds will have the ball. Tigers 36-yard line. Buell again out of the gun. He'll call his own number. Feel his way through. Still on his feet as he will drive to the 30-yard line.
Just getting 6 runs a pop right now. You're going to take that if you're Coach Goff.
They're taking a little playbook out of the Rock Springs Tigers earlier this evening. Second down and 4. Hash mark to the near side. East going right to left. Crush your radio dial as well as your live stream.
Watch a play action right here.
Periscope via Twitter and on YouTube. This time we'll give it to Anderson. Anderson cuts back against the grain as he will have the first down and more.
Good run by Anderton, finishing that run. That's so big in the fourth quarters to finish your runs. Another 7-yard pickup.
To the 23-yard line. It's first down and 10, and we are under 5 minutes to play. Quickly to the line of scrimmage. Here come the T-Birds. Again, Anderton spins away from one tackle, still on his feet, and drives inside the 20 to the 19.
That's a hard-earned 4-yard run for Christian Anderton.
Second down and 6 for Cheyenne East. Now they'll slow things down with the Pepsi scoreboard at the 4:35 mark. T-Birds lead 17-14 here at the Okie Blanchard Sports Complex.
No top help over on Miller here on this near side. No, now Reese is coming to safety.
Buell lets the clock wind down. Checks off, and back to pass. He steps. He wants it all. He wants 6 for Miller. Touchdown!
He saw it coming. There was no help up top, and you know Graydon Buell is going to always give his man a chance, and Chance Miller cannot be held out of the end zone for another week.
So the Cheyenne East Thunderbirds on the 19-yard aerial from Graydon Buell to Chance Miller, back up by 9. It's 23-14. And another Chance Miller touchdown.
The 15th on the season.
Ox Schroeder to put it through the uprights, out of the hold of Buell. We got a whistle that comes from the umpire, who now will trot up and let's see what we got. As he will go to the referee and say somebody did a no-no.
Well, how about just the pass? He let it up there, and Chance Miller caught it at its highest point. But not only that, too, came down to the ground and still maintained possession.
Illegal substitution against the Tigers, so that'll move the ball. No, the Thunderbirds will decline the penalty.
They don't want Ox to get too close.
No, heck, you could have brought the offense out to run too if you wanted to. Snap is back. Placement is down. Schroeder misses again off to the right. And it's a 9-point advantage for East with 4:06 to go. 23-14 our score. We are back after this 30-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. After tonight's contest, Cheyenne East head coach Chad Goff, one of his special players, will be joining us, or maybe two, it depends. So we will see how things develop here in this contest. The Thunderbirds looking to go 6-2 on the season. They've got Sheridan next Friday night at Sheridan. So again, if you can hold on for the win tonight, kind of secures you in that top 4. At least you know you'll have at least a home playoff. But you need to go up and get one at Sheridan next weekend.
Yeah, and as far as just as we're waiting for this kickoff from Goff, Burns up 46-0 over Newcastle at half. Pine Bluffs in a scoreless tie after the one half of play against number 2 Upton Sundance.
Gavin Goff will boot it away. And it's going to be very short. Picked up by, it looked like, Richards.
And I don't think it was so much an East player that hit him. It was a blocker that got thrown right into him.
He got blocked back into him. So Richards, a very short gain, but good field position for the Tigers, 42. And I apologize, too. I kept saying Fort Lingle Laramie Doggers for Pine Bluffs. It was Upton Sundance, the Bobcats. So for Pine Bluffs, again, scoreless over there in Pine tonight.
Well, a big answer for East on that touchdown drive is once again Rock Springs finding themselves down 2 scores.
Empty backfield. Hymas out of the gun. Rolling to his left. Stepping, throwing, getting the man. And that would be, again, that would be Schoenfeld. And he might be shook up. He is on the turf at the 44-yard line of the Tigers. It was a very short gain to the 45. Stops the clock with 3:52 to go.
Take a quick look at our scoreboard as we wait to see what happens on the far side. Central has taken the lead over Natrona County. That's in the second, 13-12. Still not a lot of change as far as lead changes go in the other games. 48-0, Campbell County over South. Thunder Basin up 49-7. Sheridan up 55-7 over Laramie. Those are games that are all in the fourth quarter.
97 points scored in Gillette this evening. Wow, they've got a scoring barrage going over there in Campbell County, as well as Thunder Basin. Again, with tonight's win, if the Thunderbirds can hold on, again, they'll move to 6-2. Rock Springs would drop to 4-4. Of course, Central sitting right there at 4-3, as you mentioned, grabbing the lead from Natrona. You can only hope good things will happen for the Cheyenne Central Indians. So we have a penalty.
A big one, too.
Yeah, it's going to mark him back to the 31-yard line. I would venture to say it was a holding call. We didn't see the flag again. Where are you at there, Nick? You usually have those things posted on the board. So it's going to be first down at 21 for the Tigers. Back to pass is Hymas. He's going long. He's got a man. That is O'Carey, who makes the grab across the way at the 40-yard line of Cheyenne East. Wow, getting back those yards in a hurry.
29-yard catch by O'Carey.
Well, they're going to say his knees touched down. Now they're going to officially spot him at the 43. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. First down and 10. Back to pass goes Hymas again. He'll dump it over the middle backfield screen as it will be Madsen. And it looked like the linemen they peeled off to the right, and Madsen went to the left, but it nets positive yards. to the 38, gain of 5.
Well, and if you're East, you got to stop the big play. You can't give Rock Springs a big play. If they're going to score, let them score by eating some time off the clock. But here, this Rock Springs team starting to get big play after big play.
They sure like to run that inside screen a lot.
They do. that they do as well.
So it is now 2nd down, and we'll call it 4 for the Tigers. Back to pass. Hymas throws it. It's picked up by Rail. Went in and out of the hands of Petty. Rail will have it, and he'll be spun down at the 40-yard line of the T-Birds with 3:10 to go.
What a great job there by Jake Rail. We saw a couple of passes earlier that could have been picked off. Rail not letting this one get away from him.
Ball was thrown with a little mustard on it by Hymas. Went through the hands of Petty and Rail in the right place at the right time. I mean, that thing kind of squirted off the hands of Petty right into Rail's hands. 1st down and 10 for the T-Birds.
I believe that was Jake Rail's 2nd interception on the season as well.
Again, with this contest, it's not over until we see 3 zeros on the board. 3:10, it's looking favorable for the T-Birds. An empty backfield for Buell. In motion. They'll give it off to Hesford. Hesford trying to sweep outside. Then he will be spun around and dropped at the 44. Pick up a 4 on the play, and he'll stay in bounds. Nice job by Jackson Hesford.
I was just going to say the wherewithal to spin back into the field of play. And not only that, did he pick up a few more because the contact was made almost at the line of scrimmage.
2:45 on the Pepsi scoreboard. East leads 23-14 with the football at the 44. Now the Thunderbirds control the clock, taking their time. Buell now will set it up to Anderton. Anderton, again, 1st down yardage, Tiger territory to the 44. Nice run by Christian Anderson. And again, you're seeing a lot of confidence now in Christian as he's carrying the football and holding it tight to the chest.
Yeah, and he's doing a great job. Exactly that, Larry, holding it tight to the chest as he goes over the century mark with that 12-yard run. And if you're Rock Springs, you have 2 timeouts remaining. At what point do you start using those timeouts?
1st down at the 44-yard line of Rock Springs. Again, Buell in no hurry as we have reached the 2-minute mark. Now he'll retreat back. He'll send Anderton to his left. Buell, long count. Takes the snap to Anderton. Anderton wrapped up, dropped at the 41-yard line. And it will be a gain of 3, 2nd down and 7. And it looks like the Tigers have whistled for a timeout. $1:44 to go here in the game. East 23, Rock Springs 14, back after this 30-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. To the Okie Blanchard Sports Complex. Thunderbirds with 1:44 left here in the game. After the timeout by the Tigers, they have only 1 left, by the way. East with the football on the Rock Springs 41-yard line. Buell calls his own number straight ahead. Busts 1 tackle, tripped up down to the 37-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and short, and the Tigers have whistled for their final timeout with 97 seconds left.
Well, 1st down here, Larry, will end it. So this is a big 3rd down conversion needed here for East. Is over at Risky Field, Central adding another touchdown. It's now 19-12. That's still in the first half.
So, again, Mike Abadaka's team, again, as win or lose that contest against Natrona, I'm telling you right now, if they are that 5th team or 6th team I don't want to play them in the playoffs.
No.
They are a tough customer to handle right now.
Well, you got to think, too, if you're East, you definitely don't want to play them in the first round because there's nothing like playing your rivalry in the quarterfinal round.
And, and with the win here tonight, if the Thunderbirds can, let's just say they get the 3 yards, they have secured themselves at least a first-round playoff game here at the stadium.
With next week being as much as, if they win that one, as high as a 2 seed.
So for the T-Birds, 3rd down 3. Buell has Hesford in motion. Fake the handoff to Hesford, give it off to Anderson. Anderson stumbles his way inside the 35 to the 34. It is close.
It is close.
It is close.
They're going to have this measured. It's the clock still ticks. We haven't seen a time called by the official.
And let's see, they are looking it over very seriously. Clock is running. That is not making the Tiger brain trust happy. Finally, the referee will call timeout to measure it. So a freebie timeout, so to speak, for the Tigers.
You got Graydon Buell trying to do anything he can just to move the football just a hair, because that's how much it could be. That's how close it could be at this point. It's either going to be 4th and centimeters or it's going to be ball game for East.
And they'll stretch it out. They've got a place down, and it is centimeters, like you said. It's 4th down and a couple of inches.
And you go for it here. You put the nail in the coffin at this point. They'll restart the clock. You'll have a chance to get it underneath a minute as Rock Springs doesn't have a timeout. You go for it here, up 2 possessions. Don't even give Rock Springs a chance to get the ball back.
So a fresh 30 now for the T-Birds, so they don't have to snap this thing until about 40 seconds left. As they are meeting on the sidelines, and now they'll break the huddle and come back. Hash mark to the near side, 4th down and inches.
We'll see, too, if they also try a dummy count and then call a timeout, as East has all of their timeouts here in this 4th quarter.
Buell will now, and I think the timeout was called by Coach Goff with 47 seconds left. East 23, Rock Springs 14, back after this 30-second timeout on 1480 KRAE. Welcome back to Oakey Blanchard Stadium. Larry Proietti, Chris Polton, Nick Proietti. Back at the house, pushing all the right buttons again, is Trowa Elbert-Armstrong. So we thank Trowa for doing a remarkable job, as he usually does, to keep us on the air. Right now, 23-14 with the T-Birds and the Tigers.
One thing that's been nice for East is that you've seen Buell call his own number a couple of times here. So now in your Rock Springs, you can't just think Anderton's going to get the football here, because you've seen Buell be okay with running the football.
Well, we also know Buell can pop that hard count, so let's see if he pulls that rabbit out of his hat here. 4th down, Buell over center, and he got him to do it.
Unreal by Graydon Buell.
He snapped up to the line of scrimmage, got underneath center, did the hard count, because, again, Rock Springs was anticipating the quarterback sneak, and the hard count draws the Tigers offside. Game, set, match. It's victory formation time.
Well, and how about Buell, too, flexing on top of that? Maybe one of the more headier plays he's made, because he sold the fact that it was going to be a QB sneak. And, of course, Rock Springs being on their toes, tried to get off the ball quickly and jumped offside.
East will have to run a couple of plays out of the victory formation, fall on ball on 1, as Buell will step back, and he'll drop back a couple of yards. You know, that goes against his running game.
That does. It's a negative 2 yards.
That is a negative 2 yards rushing.
He's hurting his average.
So they'll have to do it one more time, as the Thunderbirds will beat the Tigers. And, again, talk about a hard-fought victory. You saw it here tonight. We saw it here tonight. at the Okie Blanchard Sports Complex.
This is a character win. This is when something you look back to on your season, and this is where you build character as a game like this.
Well, and again, too, with the win, the Thunderbirds now go to 6-2. They have guaranteed themselves that playoff game, that first-round playoff here at the stadium. So, again, with the Thunderbirds, they still have one more to go. They've got Sheridan, like Chris mentioned. They've got a possibility of moving into that number 2 hole, and again, being on the opposite side of Thunder Basin.
Which is important because you don't want to go to Gillette in that second round. But another thing to think about, too, is if the game is going as it is at Risky Field, your crosstown rival could also help you out, too, and you can jump Natrona this week.
That's right. You can move into the number 3 hole. So, again, and again, don't tell me these coaches don't scoreboard watching. They're not on headsets right now knowing that Cheyenne Central is leading Casper Natrona right now. So, with the win, the T-Birds move to 6-2 on the season. The Tigers, under first-year head coach Mark Lenhart, they will drop to 4-4. But they are secured right now in that number 6 hole. So, again, they will face off with the number 3 seed. There's a very good possibility they may be driving back here to Cheyenne again.
And if you're Coach Goff, I don't know if you want to see them in the first round. Again, this Rock Springs team, if they clean up some mistakes, they could be problems. This game could have easily been 14-0 in the first quarter if it wasn't for the fumble recovery by the defense for Cheyenne East.
But also, too, you made mention Landon Toth, as we saw very little of him, matter of fact, nothing of him in the second half. So, again, don't know if he was injured or whatever the case may be. I'm trying to look down here at the end zone to see if he is suited up. But right now I can't get they're all, well, we're looking at somebody limping right there, and it is Landon Toth right there, so he is limping. So that might be either an ankle or knee that prevented him from playing in the second half.
Which was huge because he had with 13 carries in that first half for 78 yards. Now, he was the one that fumbled on the 1-yard line, and who knows, that maybe that was the play that had hurt him and how he gave up the ball. But nonetheless, you had a guy averaging almost 5 yards a carry, and now he didn't get to play the rest of the game. And so that hurts. Actually not 5 yards, 6 yards a carry. So that hurts Rock Springs a little bit, and it put a lot more on the shoulders of Matson and just gave you one less weapon.
Yeah, it was a huge loss down the stretch for the Rock Springs Tigers. Once again, the final score here from the Okie Blanchard Sports Complex. Cheyenne East wins 23-14. They're now 6-2. Rock Springs drops to 4-4. We're going to take a 2-minute timeout. We'll come back. Our postgame show next here on 1480 KRAE. Back to the Okie Blanchard Sports Complex. We'll have Chad Goff joining us in a little bit. I think he's trying to round up a couple of players to come up here. You've got some stats, so let's run down some of the numbers. Again, we'll have more complete numbers. I see Tyler Pulaski from the newspaper up here in the press box. I'm sure he'll get the final numbers for tomorrow's or in tomorrow's edition from tonight's game.
Well, for Hymas, he ended up 12 of 22, throwing the football for 89 yards. He had a touchdown and an INT. As far as running backs go, Matson, 18 carries, 87 yards. Toth had 13 carries for 78 yards. He had the other touchdown. Hymas, 6 carries, 13 yards. Petty with 1 carry, 1 yard. You had Richards with 1 carry for 4 yards. O'Carey with 1 carry, 12 yards. Schoenfeld, 1 carry for 4 yards. 3 catches for Petty on the night, 18 yards for Petty. He had 3 catches for 21 yards, and he had a touchdown to go with that. O'Carey, 2 catches, 32 yards. It was Schoenfeld, 3 catches for 16 yards. For Cheyenne East, their quarterback, Graydon Buell, looked like he was going to go touchdownless for the first time this season. He threw one in the fourth quarter to his buddy Chansaw Miller. He ended up 12 of 25 for 208 yards. Again, that 19-yard touchdown pass to Chansaw Miller. Anderton, strong night, 22 carries, 106 yards. He had a 1-yard touchdown run. Buell had 6 carries, 19 yards. Hesford, 4 carries for 22 yards. He also chipped in with a 6-yard touchdown run. As far as catches go, Allmiller, 4 catches for 71 yards and a touchdown. Hesford, 4 catches, 99 yards. Michaeli with 3 catches for 38. Anderton had 1 catch, but for no yards on that play.
Coming up, Coach will be Coach Coach Goff, as he will be bringing up Dakota Heckman. Also, Jake Rail will be joining us on our post-game show. That will continue after we take a 2-minute timeout right here on 1480 KRAE.
To Okie Blanchard Sports Complex East, a winner over Rock Springs 23-14. We're now joined by Jake Rail in a minute, Dakota Heckman. But Jake, just take us through the interception. It seemed like you guys were really close to picking off Hymas a couple of times, but coming up with it late in that fourth quarter was huge.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's one of those tip drill. We work on it in practice all the time, and it's just kind of making a play on the ball, right place, right time. And
we joked about it before we came on the air, but you also you tipped the ball, and it was Lamb that had a chance, but bobbled it about 3 or 4 times. That's why offensive and defensive linemen don't come out that far, right? Because the hands aren't quite there.
Yeah, I know. You can give them crap about that.
You knew this game was going to be physical. They're very big up front. They love to run the football. What was the adjustment that you guys made from that first drive, and really after getting that turnover at the 1-yard line?
I mean, really just changing our front, just complete personnel change, not what we worked on in practice this week. Just game time adjustment.
And as far as an underclassman goes, you get a chance to see a guy like Chance Allmiller. He was shut out the first half, not really having a lot to do with anything on offense. But then you see the play that he makes with the big 2-point conversion and the play down here. How nice is it getting a chance to see that guy play every day?
Yeah, it's awesome. I love having him as a teammate. Go against him every day, and I know what he can do.
Yeah, right. Well, thank you very much. We'll go ahead and hand it off to Dakota Heckman. He can give us a good insight as far as what it was like in the trenches. Go ahead and give that. You can hand that off to him. So, Dakota, I'm sure more than anybody playing both sides of the football, you knew that this was probably going to be the biggest line you see all season. They had the center and then Taylor on the on both sides of the football. Yeah. How rough was it in the trenches tonight?
Man, it's tough. They're big. Against 77, I'm giving up 120 pounds. But I thought I held my own, and I thought overall we held our own as a team.
It looked like on offense, too, Anderton couldn't get loose inside the tackles, so you guys went with the fly sweeps with Anderton and Hesford. Yeah. How nice was that to kind of try to get those guys to move left and right as opposed to just running right at them?
It's good because it gets them to move laterally a lot more, and so they get tired. And, big guys like that, they're going to get tired a lot easier, and so it helped us out and got our run game going.
In the last couple of weeks, you guys have just been stronger as the game goes on with the run game. It just seems like Anderton picks up steam. You guys start picking up steam. What is it about your guys, especially conditioning-wise, where in the fourth quarter they can really hang your hat on the front five on offense?
Yeah, that's a big thing for us because we're not the biggest O-line, but we're definitely athletic and we're conditioned well, so we can keep going all game long and keep pounding it.
And then lastly on defense, I'm sure mixing it up with those guys on the defensive side, how important was it for you guys to try to at least hold on to some of those big guys so they couldn't get to the second level to help the run defense?
Yeah, it's huge because, if they're getting up to the second level, then they're going to break it to the third level, and then, who knows what happens after that. But I thought our D-line did a real good job of keeping them there, especially after the first and second drives. They did a real good job.
And then lastly, the fumble at the 1-yard line really changed the game. It could have been 14-0 at that point. As far as what you saw, because you were kind of right in the mix of it, as far as what you saw, what happened? Who was the one that made the play to strip the football?
I'm not sure who stripped it. I know Adrian Hernandez recovered it, and that was huge. And then, offense came right back out, got all the momentum, and took it 99 yards. And that was huge for us.
Well, congratulations to both of you tonight. Very big win, and good luck next week. Big game against Sheridan.
Yes, sir.
So that is Jake Rail and or defensive back Jake Rail and offensive lineman / defensive lineman Zach Higgins. We'll take a 60-second timeout. It'll be head coach Chad Goff after this 23-14 victory over Rock Springs. 60 seconds right here on 1480 KRAE.
At the Okie Blanchard Sports Complex, and first and foremost, we want to thank everybody who listened in to 1480 KRAE, 101.1 FM, 1480KRAE.com. Also, streaming with us, Periscope via Twitter and YouTube. Thank you again to Nick Proietti for the job he did. With us right now, head coach Chad Goff. And, Coach, I guess two things. First off, congratulations on the win tonight.
Yep.
Second of all, congratulations. At least now, and I know we still have another game left, but us talking heads always like to say that you at least know you're going to be here for the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, we don't know that yet. There's still possibilities out there that could affect us in that situation, but we did buy a chance There's no doubt about it. And that's what we told our kids 2 weeks ago. Well, that's what I just told them right now. We're 2-0 in the playoffs right now because we've been fighting since we have 2 losses to try to get a home playoff game. And so we said we started our playoffs 2 weeks ago. And so right now, pretty proud of them. They're 2-0 right now.
This was a team full of big hosses. And we were talking out in the hall, and you have a lot of praise for this Rock Springs Tigers team. They kept your defense on their heels, especially on those first couple of drives this evening.
Yeah, it's those guys we're about half their size up front, and they're just pushing on our guys. And I thought our assistants did a great job in talking to Coach Hesford, Coach Blunn, and Coach Eldridge that have coached some younger level stuff and seen that kind of stuff a little bit more and put us in some different looks to help adjust to it. I thought they made great adjustments. And then, you know what, those kids stepped up and did a great job, caused that fumble. We get the ball on the 1 yard line and really, get a 99-yard drive and just kind of wake us up and just got going at that point a little bit, and then we challenged them at halftime, and I just talked to them about consistency. We have a 99-yard drive, and then the next time we get the ball in like the 15 after a block punt, and we don't do anything with it, and that's what we talked about. Like, we don't. If you go back to last week as well as this week, you have to respond to what you do well, too. You can always respond to another team, and I think we've done a good job of that. But we struggled a little bit last week and this week responding to the good things we've done. Special teams, great play, don't get a touchdown. Interception, great play, don't get a touchdown. Get a touchdown, miss a PAT. And that's what we're trying to figure out right now, and that's what we're trying to teach these young kids is we've got to respond not only to what other teams do, but we've got to respond to what we do.
It's also a tribute, too, to this Class 4A division. Again, and we always talk about the top 4, but let's throw in the Centrals of the world. Let's throw the Rock Springs under Mark Lenhart. It's now, it's a 6-team battle, and on any given night, you guys can knock each other off.
Yeah, no doubt about it, and that's what makes it fun. That's what'll make you this. Whoever walks away at the end of this with the trophy, you'll know you've earned it. You'll know you've earned it, and that's what it's supposed to be. That's just telling you that kids are out here, they're believing in their school, they're working hard for their school, and they're working hard for their parents and their fans, and that's what it's supposed to be about. That's why we do this. And so, yeah, that's awesome that it's not just the top 4 talk all the time.
And also, too, and I used this word with you when I did our interview for our pregame show, the word is resolve. Your team has that resolve. They don't panic. It's almost like, and I've used this term many times in basketball, you got a bunch of lunchbox kids. They just come to work, and they – you say we need to run this, they do it. And you got to be very proud of this group of kids. And, whether the season ends today, ends with a trophy, this group of kids is going to be very special in one Chad Goff's life.
Yeah, no doubt. When you come out and you only have 9 seniors, I think, playing the game of football in a school as big as us, and there's no doubt we got the right 9, and the leadership they're showing these juniors and bringing them along with them, because as juniors last year, they did a great job of stepping up and helping that senior class. And so they're kind of passing that leadership skill on, and they're a really good group of kids. And that's what I told them. I think for the most part, we live pretty right. And our kids do the right thing. We got great character, and that's what propels you in some of these games. And so really proud of our kids and the people that they are.
Now, we won't have you next weekend, but the long road trip to Sheridan, Coach Mowry, again, taking over from Coach Julian. They started with a little stumble, but you know what? They are starting to find their mojo, so to speak. It's always been a tough place for you up there, especially at Homer Scott Field.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We've only beat them once up there, and so it's not an easy place to play. And it's a program that you want to model yours after. I mean, you always want to have a place. We want this place to be a place where people hate to show up to, And so we're trying to pick it up and move it about an extra 500 miles away just to make the trip more grueling to get here, and then we'll see. But it's going to be it's a special weekend for us. Truly, our varsity plays on Friday night. Our JV is going to play Saturday morning, and then right after that, our freshmen are playing their freshmen in the Geldine Championship. And so our whole community of football players is going to be up there, and it's going to be a blast.
So final thought here is we talk about Coach Mauer's team. We saw him against Cheyenne Central. We know they can throw the football.
Mhm.
They like to mix the run. No different than watching Cheyenne East.
Right.
They got some good targets they like to throw to too.
Yeah, no doubt. They got dudes. You know, they grow them well up there, and it's a great tradition town. I mean, you don't walk into a stadium with that many state championships running across their banner, and you go up there, and the kids, it's a one-horse town, you know, and they have so much support and so much love. You go up there, you try to eat lunch, and you can't eat lunch without every person in town have a Sheridan Bronx football T-shirt on that day, and you just know that it is just a bred thing that you play football and you play at a high level.
Well, Coach, congratulate you.
Thank
Big
you. I
win
appreciate
tonight
it,
and a good comeback by the Cheyenne East Thunderbirds. Not panicking after trailing 7-0. Again, getting that key fumble as I bring Chris Polton back on with us. You know, Chris, again, after they saw the Tigers drive it down to the one, cough the football up, then respond back 99 yards, and then went into the locker room. Only trailing 7-6. And again, Coach Goff said missed opportunity. That one was one that they didn't see that coming. They expect every time to get the football and score, but they at least were close and then came out in the second half and played a good brand of football.
They did, and I think that 99-yard drive is kind of a microcosm of what that offense is. They have so much confidence that they can take the ball anywhere and they can score. And they can score in a hurry because that wasn't a long drive either. It was less than 2 minutes. It took them to go 99 yards. And the other thing is, too, is as I agree with Coach Goff, is they got to cherish, they got to pick up other facets of the game. When your special teams go out and make a big play with you, you have to finish it. When the defense comes up with the big play, gets the turnover, you have to be able to finish the ball game. Now, they did it right 2 of the 3 times. They turned the fumble into 6 points, and then they turned the interception as to a game ender by taking care of the football for the last 3 minutes. And, you know, Coach Goff is right. They have to be consistent because there was moments in this game where they allowed big plays, and especially on the ground game. And, you know, Sheridan, they got Garrett Coons. That kid does not go down with one set of arms on him. You're going to have to gang tackle, and you're going to have to get down low.
And they got the big tight end, too,
right.
that worked himself free a lot in the second half against Cheyenne Central. So, yeah, they'll have their hands full. But the thing is, too, last comment from me, what reminds me of what Coach Goff said, you know, he wants this place to be a place that you hate coming to. I think that reputation is starting to bode through the entire Class 4A. And again, where the fear is to come here simply for the fact we've seen this team all season long respond to pressure and come back, and again have blown out some teams as well. But the thing is, this team, 4 points, and they could be 8-0 right now.
Right. I mean, they've had, the unfortunate 17 unanswered points thrown up against them against Thunder Basin right here at Okie Blanchard. And then they were, one play away from stealing one from Natrona after being down. One thing with this team, though, is one thing that's nice is you can say this team's starting to look like a second-half team. Now you just got to figure out the first half. You would hate to have to figure out the second half and have a first-half team. So it's nice, especially as you get going. You want a team that can finish, and they can finish right now. At least the last 2 weeks they've been able to finish.
A lot of fun calling Cheyenne East football, and hopefully we'll have some more Cheyenne East football coming up in the playoffs, as well as Cheyenne Central. Real quick, we want to thank all of our wonderful sponsors. Again, Aero Moving and Storage, B&B Appliance and TV, Baskin-Robbins, Kuzma Sussex Realty, Billy Adelman with the LCCC Flight Crew, the Breadbasket Bakery, Burns Insurance Company, Capital Lumber Company, Charles Schwab, Shine Auto Repair and Service, Chick-fil-A, Fat Boys Tire and Auto, First Education Federal Credit Union, Foot of the Rockies, Halliday Motors, High West Energy, Joe at Produce, Kia of Cheyenne, LCCC, Cheyenne Regional Medical Center, the Injury Prevention Program, along with First Tier Bank. Do want to remind you, we are at Milt Risky Field coming up next Friday evening, the season finale for Cheyenne Central and Cheyenne South. Again, tentative time is a 7 o'clock kickoff. It might be 6. We'll keep you posted in that contest. We will go back to the scoreboard here in just a moment with Chris as we'll wrap it up. Also, too, we want to take our time to thank MHP LLP, Lennox Auto Body, Little Philly, Mary's Mountain Cookies, Medicap Pharmacy, Meridian Trust, Federal Credit Union, Merit Plumbing and Heating, Paige and Zach Lane with number 1 properties, Pepsi of Cheyenne with our Pepsi scoreboard, again in favor of East tonight, 23-14, Pete's Builders, Platte Valley Bank, Taco John's, the Gill Window Company, and the Wyoming Department of Transportation. And I do want to say to our fine sponsors, again, to all our great listeners and our viewers, get that opportunity, pop your head in, say thank you to these guys. You know, you may not need their services, but, you know, they do this for the kids, and we appreciate them being on board each season with us for the high school as well as for the JUCO college, junior college basketball season coming up. You have one check on scores real quick before we get out of here, so let's run them down.
Class 2A, number 5, Burns is a winner 46-0 over Newcastle. Class 1A action is it's a final. Number 2, Upton Sundance blanks Pine Bluffs 35-0. As far as Class 4A goes, it's a final in Gillette for Campbell County, 48-7 over the South High Fighting Bison. On the other side of the town for Thunder Basin, they're continuing to roll as they stay undefeated, 49-14. They beat Casper Kelly Walsh. And another final in Laramie Sheridan with a big-time win, 55-7. So they'll be coming into Okie Blanchard riding high. And then at half, the only game still going on, it's Central 19, Natrona County 12. That game being played over at Risky Field as we speak.
East will be heading up to Sheridan next week at Homer Scott
Oh,
Field.
that's right. That's what I meant.
But we do want to mention that the Camels, who started the season with 18 consecutive losses, they punched their ticket to the playoffs tonight by beating Cheyenne South. So for the Camels, they are now into the playoffs, and it's been a while for that franchise, so to speak, last couple seasons since Thunder Basin's come into play, that they have punched their ticket to the playoffs. So we know Rock Springs is in. We know Central is in. I think there's just one more left to get punched into the playoffs real quick, and that would be between Laramie South and Casper Kelly Walsh. I think Casper Kelly Walsh, well, again, that might be a flip of the coin. We don't know if all these teams will be heading into the playoffs yet. So again, it depends on the final week. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock, it will be homecoming at the University of Wyoming in Laramie as the Pokes will host New Mexico. Last I saw, they were 19-point favorites over the Lobos. Real quick here, do we have a Major League Baseball update?
4-1, I think. I believe it was 4-1 final, but the Yankees survived.
The Yankees, so they will force a 6th game back at Minute Maid. And again, the Astros will have a home field advantage for Game 6 and, if necessary, Game 7. So again, the Astros leading 3-2. The winner to take on the Washington Nationals. Final thought.
Well, good job there by East. Bloodbath, especially in that first two drives. It didn't look good, but you got to, as you said, the word of the night has been the resolve of this team, and they're going to have to use it as they make that long trip up to Sheridan. And what's nice, too, is Coach Goff said it's going to be a nice football community, as on Saturday they'll wait to leave and as they root on their freshmen to go up against the Sheridan freshmen for a conference title. So they're winning at all levels thus far right now for Cheyenne East.
I'll use the baseball terminology. We'll go around the horn. First off, we want to thank our engineer back at the house, Trowa Elbert-Armstrong. Thank you so much for pushing all the right buttons. Nick Proietti for taking care of the live stream tonight, Periscope via Twitter, as well as YouTube. To my broadcast partner, Chris Polton, thank you so much. I'm Larry Proietti, again, reminding you the final score. East 23, Rock Springs 14. That is our final here from Okie Blanchard Sports Complex. We will be at Milt Risky Field next Friday night. Again, talking with Coach Apodaca throughout the course of the year. He likes 7 o'clock kickoff, so we're going to hope that it is a 7 o'clock kickoff. If that be the case, pregame around 6:30. It will be Cheyenne South and Cheyenne Central to wrap up the season finale of the regular season. So with that all being said, they want to turn the lights out here at Okie Blanchard Sports Complex. We want to get out of here, so we'll return to regular programming. Have a good night. Have a great weekend. I'm Larry Proietti signing off on 1480 KRAE.